ants stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
We do not forget. Expect us.
This is a message to all supporters, a message to all freedom fighters, to all dissenters, to all forgotten, a call to all intellectuals, to all journalists, a call to all freethinkers, a call for intelligence. This is a call to all poets, a call to the strong and the weak, a call to all young people, to the wise, to the astucious. We want you to join us. We are on the streets of Tokyo, in the skyscrapers of New York, in the lanes of Paris, in the cellars of Munich, on Moscow's icy places, on the cobbled streets of Dublin. This is a call to all people, to the youth. Join us in the fight for freedom of information. Search for us, and you will find us. We are among you. We are you. Everyone you speak with can be a member of Anonymous. We have no leaders, only an orientation. We have no targets, only results. You cannot stop us because we are an idea. We cannot be eliminated because we are invisible. If you try to mock us, we will mock ourselves. If you try to slander us, we will accept the defamation. We are the king's jesters with daggers. We are the dancing bear which tears to pieces the laughing mob. We are Anonymous. We are a legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us, just as we expect you.
Councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Came right up to the back of the...
And welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 132. We are back at our regular time. Well, let's just jump right into it. The first topic I kind of want to talk about today is WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks is claiming that The Guardian had made up the Paul Manafort story. And they have a GoFundMe campaign that really needs a lot of support. It's being sponsored by the Courage Foundation because the WikiLeaks, I don't believe they can accept donations directly through GoFundMe. So I don't know. It needs a lot of support. They need like $300,000 and they only made $35,000. I don't know, there's a lot of shit going on about that story. And then The Guardian isn't going to say that they're not going to back down from their story. They're saying that they're telling the truth when it does seem kind of fabricated. Like, I don't see Julian Assange collaborating with the Republican Party at the Ecuadorian embassy. I just don't see that happening with Julian Assange, you know?
Yeah. Between The Guardian and WikiLeaks, everyone should by now knows that, like, whatever you think of like political affiliations and stuff, all the stuff that WikiLeaks released has been 100% legit. So if they say that they got a case against The Guardian or whatever, you can be sure that they got the evidence to actually destroy them in court, or they wouldn't even start it. So.
Well, and it's one of those things. The Guardian, you can name off any news agency, corporate news agency that you want. They lie, get caught in lies, and run stories that are false all the time. They don't retract them once they're known as false. Where WikiLeaks has never had to retract anything because they posted false information.
No, exactly.
Well, not only that, I think Manafort was never on the visitors list at all, as far as the Ecuadorian embassy is concerned. I'm not saying that nobody wouldn't, omit a name, but the evidence isn't physically there to prove that the Guardian story is true, other than somebody lying about it,
Well, look, okay, we just mentioned MI6, right? So it's not like they're not watching Adrian Assange all the time. The U.S. government, the CIA, isn't watching Adrian Assange all the time. They know if and this was before all of this happened, they know if Manafort went there or not. They all know if Manafort went there.
Well, yeah, there would be video evidence, of course. Yeah.
What? Cameras quit working on that day at the Ecuadorian embassy?
I don't know, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening.
Well, even then, so I mean, it goes into the making. Okay, so Paul Ford, but went there and what? All of the stories WikiLeaks released, they released on their page. Anybody could have done that.
Yeah.
Without Paul. Like, what was the point?
Well, they also released shit on the Russians as well, Well,
even if they did, we were kind of talking about that before. Like, so what? Who cares what person releases information about your enemy? The point would be to run a good. Like, you ran a horrible with all this, all these skeletons in their closet and all of these issues, and then are mad at somebody for releasing it. You shouldn't have ran somebody that was that dirty. That is your fault. Oh, well, how dare he show all of our illegal campaign contributions? That bastard. He should be arrested immediately for exposing all of our corruption. It just makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. Like, why the hell do you still continue to do that stuff if you know you're going to be exposed? Then it's your fault. It's not WikiLeaks' fault for exposing this stuff.
We did not tell your staff to destroy all of the equipment with hammers. You told them to do it. And there's two things at that. Number one, come on, like that all of that equipment costs money. That's like honestly, that's taxpayers' money. Second of all, that's the real understanding of how the right. right? Like, she should probably learn it the same way that, like, the corrupt police departments learn it. Once it's uploaded on the internet, it doesn't matter whether you have a phone or not. So, I mean, all of the emails, all of it, that's the deal. You're all like, he should be punished for releasing your corrupt, they're your corrupt emails. Name another situation where you try to arrest a person that, like, if you see a murder, embezzlement, if you see any other crime and you expose it, right, you're a hero. But in this case, because you exposed Hillary Clinton, right, when they didn't like you to, you're a criminal for exposing criminal activity because my guy lost the election.
Well, you already know how these people think about journalists. I mean, you can just look back at the collateral murder video released on WikiLeaks. They were shooting journalists from an Apache helicopter. Well, like blowing up journalists in Iraq. There was like Reuters journalists.
Oh yeah, with the whole Chelsea Manning thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it all started. That's how they really think about journalists. You can't tell me they didn't know who these people were. They were not terrorists.
Same with protests, right? With the Apple mercenaries, Standing Rock, we're targeting specifically journalists and medical staff, right? Arrest journalists and medical staff. You see that same tactic being used over and over. The people that are going to expose it are number one targets.
Sorry, you were saying something. Sorry.
Terrence.
Oh yeah, we have to remind our listeners that there was like a weird fan parked in front of his house again, so the quality might suck again and it drops out. He'll be back.
Oh man.
Yeah, WikiLeaks is raising money now. They do actually have some money, but the Courage Foundation could use the support. And the Courage Foundation also defends other arrested activists and hackers. So whatever you donate to them will be used for like a good cause. So.
Yeah, if you want to donate to that WikiLeaks campaign, you just go to @WikiLeaks and it's pinned to the top of their Twitter. Should we talk about ACTA?
It's weird. Like, there's one page. I'm using like a sock to use to share our show, and one page on Facebook is not accepting our show. It's the anti-globalist page.
Yeah,
it just gives an error. So your account is not allowed to perform this action. It says, and all other pages work, but
I get that all the time from that dummy account that I use.
Yeah, I just borrow an account to share. I mean, I'm not no longer there. So
I don't really give a shit about Facebook.
No, whatever. Why the hell would you even use that stuff?
Oh god. So you want to talk about ACTA? A lot of our U.S. viewers are not familiar with ACTA.
Oh. Yeah. Well, in Europe, it's early next year they will vote on it. It's the Article 11, Article 13. It will pretty much say that there will be upload filters created, so you can no longer upload copyrighted content. Or other unwanted content. I mean, they will pretty much, the law states that all website owners become responsible for what their users do. So if you post like a news article and people can reply below it, then what if they reply with something that is copyrighted, for example? Then you will be responsible for it. You will have to pay. So website owners will install upload filters, so copyrighted content can't even be uploaded anymore.
Is that basically saying that? Oh my god, I'm like hearing myself talk. It's so bad.
Okay, maybe it helps if I mute myself.
Okay. I mean, so basically, it's like there's basically what they're saying is that like no, everybody's gonna have to use like systems like WordPress or cPanel or whatever the domain. You know what I mean? nobody can be using their own code and their own stuff. They want you to use content management systems to. It's basically what they're saying, you know.
Yeah, that the CMS you're using must be compatible with their upload filter stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so that's one thing. That's the Article 13 part of the new law. But then there's Article 11, and that might be even worse, because Article 11 states that you can't quote source material that is not yours. So you're no longer allowed to point to educational or journalistic articles or other content. Like,
who said that they can make up the rules for the internet?
Yeah. Let's say you're like in a discussion on some forum about whatever politics, Donald Trump or whatever, and you're like in heated discussion, and you want to show like a source material of proof or like some investigation has been done into something you say, then you point to it, and you're no longer allowed to because there is someone else who has like a copyright on it. So you can no longer quote from anything. So that will essentially destroy freedom of education.
I know I'm gonna get kicked off again and got a weird delay going. I apologize to everybody. With that specifically, unfortunately for the oppressors, Moore's Law will outdo them. And eventually, I'll be able to hand you something of the size of a USB stick that holds the entirety of the internet. The good, the bad, everything that's posted, every video that's ever been posted up to that time, and I'll be able to give it to you in one little tiny USB. And then you don't have to ask them for any of that information. And eventually we will get to that time, and because of Moore's Law, it's coming sooner than later.
Or we can just use, like peer-to-peer networks, you know.
Yeah, the cloud. We have all sorts of weapons to fight back in a war that they have lost every single time they have tried to crack the internet. I've said that before. Whether it's Napster, which was nobody but us used Napster on that kind of level, and they made such a deal out of it down so hard that they created your average 10-year-old, shared music. Oh, music and videos and whatever. Like, there's plenty of places that you can go, but your average 10-year-old knows where to go. They've lost that completely. Same with videos and streaming videos. They've lost that completely. Where they should have got on with like Netflix or that kind of video streaming right away, and they so much money. But now everybody knows where to watch it for free. Everybody knows to watch, the game for free, right? Everyone, and they created it. And I think this next step will do the exact same thing. And because we can store huge amounts of information on electronically, we can move huge amounts of information. There'll be a point where it's like, oh, copyrighted information. No, that's fine. I'll just give you every movie ever made. The thumb drive. All of them. Right? That's well within our grasp and well within the near future. You look at what you can put a terabyte flash solid state memory. Right? That's one stick. In 3 years, it'd be, hundreds of. Every comedy, the top 1,000, the top 10,000 comedies ever made, one disc, $10. But they're creating that market. They're creating that underground. They're creating that whole thing, and it'll be everybody will have a kid in school that hands out, USBs for $5-10 a pop. That literally has every song ever made on one. We could do that now. In the price, those USBs, I'll be able to order those. I can order 1,000 of them for $20, from a certain spot.
Yeah.
But they're creating that industry. Like, it sucks, and it's such a battle, but come on. They are not they don't know what the internet. We just got done saying Hillary Clinton tried to get rid of information by smashing stuff with hammers. Those are our opponents. Fine.
So that's that's the ACTA thing. But in the U.S., they also created a similar law. It is the SESTA or FOSTA law. They say it's against human trafficking, but it pretty much says the same thing. That back then it was used like to stop human trafficking. They said like people who like offered like prostitutes or whatever on like a website. The website owner becomes responsible, so he has to like remove this, or he will face like lawsuits. So they're trying to create the same thing in there by making the website owners responsible, and they can use it for all these things. They can also say like, no, the website owner is responsible now, so you're not allowed to do copyrighted stuff. You will have to pay for it, right? So, and that's the same thing. They can use the ACTA 2 thing here in Europe to say like, yeah, you're responsible for these people.
Well, basically, they're also saying that everybody who writes an article on a website has to be factual, you know. I heard this was a ruse to they wanted to get out what they wanted, false information, or what they call fake news.
Well, I mean, it's see, that's the deal. They get to choose.
Yep.
So look, back in time, a short amount of time. If you came in and said, "Hey, there are no weapons of mass destruction," this is a lie, right? If you could go back in time in the beginning of the Iraq War, they would have taken down your page because it was seen as fact. Turns out it was a setup. It lied to the UN, the American people, to find the entire region and possibly of the world, and led to the death of millions of people. They would have taken down your page and called you a crazy conspiracy theorist, right? If you get the power. That's what the kind of stuff that they'll take down, right? If you were saying, look, Bernie Sanders' numbers are blowing yours out of the water, right? They would have taken down those pages. The control that they want is not to take down fake news. They love fake news, but they want to have control of what the fake news is and what the propaganda is. If it's fake news that supports their cause, right, they'll push it all day all night.
Yeah.
You know, like look at what they did to Alex Jones when they needed him, right? They would push this stuff all day, all night, right? And then as soon as they didn't need him anymore, sorry, man.
Yeah, they did the same thing to Gab and a few others.
Yeah, as soon as you're not saying the things that they want to say, or they just don't need you anymore, it's on to someone else. They're now doing the psyops through QAnon. They don't need you, right? We got complete control of QAnon. We didn't have complete control out of you.
I'm getting some pretty bad echo.
Do you guys see like what I'm doing here? Like I'm having to go through all sorts of shit. They definitely are trying to shut us down, and I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep at least my end up.
I don't know. You might. Oh, there he goes. Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! As soon as he said it, he got kicked off. Oh my god!
He used to get a 3-hour limit. What's happening? He's only got about 15 minutes here.
Oh my god!
He's gone twice.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. What else happened today? Or this week? This week Trump shut down the border, and then they shot tear gas to people that are trying to hop the fence.
Well, there's supposed to be a second caravan hitting Tijuana here, so they're going to get critical mass here pretty soon, and then they're going to bum rush the border, man.
Well, you know,
it's like ugly.
Tijuana didn't agree to them staying. Mexico didn't agree to them staying on the border. They didn't really agree to all the terms that Trump was saying. So, you know, like I don't understand. Yeah, people they're just gonna get impatient. They're gonna bum rush the border.
Yeah, I don't know how long we're going to be able to sit there. I mean, the people of Tijuana we're probably going to get fed up with them before anything else happens. You know, they're already encountering some of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, You know, I mean, the cartels run the border cities. You know.
Yep.
It's only a matter. It's only a matter of time because they need that. They need that cash flow from tourists. You know.
Yeah, you're screwing up their business.
Yeah.
Ain't making enough off these illegals, man. I mean, they can mule how much stuff in one day. I mean, these guys couldn't pay them enough to give that up.
Yeah, but isn't when they shot the tear gas technically over the border wall? Isn't that technically like an act of war?
I think the dividing line is actually like mid-river.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's like 10 miles in each direction. That's right. 30 miles.
Well, no, I mean the dividing line. Well, the actual dividing line is usually mid-river, if I remember right.
But
I mean,
there's
yeah,
special
even
laws.
within the
There's special laws on the line, and they define the line as like 30 miles in each direction or something like that, or 10.
Oh,
somebody. Yeah, the weird. You know the laws I'm talking about.
Yeah, that new constitutional zone anywhere within the coastlines and all that. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. You know, more unconstitutional activities. This country's so gone, man. You know, I mean, it's just... Military should have been doing something about it before they even got here. I mean, Border Patrol's getting pissed off. I've seen a couple of them on Fox, man. They're just... They just can't believe what's going on. You know, it's just like, you're really going to throw us up here in the front of 10,000 people and tell us to try to stop them? It's like we're going to get slaughtered, man.
Yeah, and also Trump wanted to violate posse comitatus. You know, like I don't get that. You know.
Yeah, nobody's even really talking about that. But yeah, you know, it's like a lot of other things. I mean, what laws do they enforce? You know,
the ones they want to.
Yeah, the only ones that are convenient that they write for their special friends and who need breaks and waivers. You know, but I mean, laws, no, you know, that doesn't apply to them. I mean, come on. Equal under the law doesn't mean anything. That's part of the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think especially when it comes to what we've seen recently with the journalists, like you can murder them openly. Fuck, they don't care. Smile. It has money.
Well, I mean, that's what they're trying to do to Julian. They're trying to say that Julian isn't a legit, isn't a journalist, and essentially they kind of are, you know.
Well, I mean, it's not that they can are. They're a legitimate news source.
Yeah.
Tyler, can you check real fast if we are still live on YouTube?
It says we are.
Okay. Because that button that we are live is no longer red.
I think we became really popular.
Oh, you're right. Hold on.
Yeah, I think we became really popular.
Oh no, we're live.
Okay. Yeah, but the button is no longer red. I thought maybe something is wrong.
It could be we could be censored in some areas because of the video. I don't know. The AI on the back end, their censorship or their whatever the stuff they're using on the back end. Sometimes, you know, like sometimes I'll watch our videos and I'll be able to see all the content, and then sometimes I won't be able to see all the content depending on which video I'm watching. So
the big
what?
Dead air. Just they obviously didn't.
Terrence, you got to speak closer to your mic.
We'll just have spots that are black. Like they'll just be, you know, the time goes by and there's nothing there, and I don't think the time when we ever stop like the conversation that we're having and just go to black screen.
Hey, can you pitch some alternative links real quick, Tyler, like Periscope or whatever?
Oh, Periscope. Yeah, we're also at ABB Live on Twitter. We're on Periscope TV. If you search for Anonymous Bites Back, we are on there. And if you're on VK, you can also find us on Anonymous Bites Back on VK. We're also on Twitch. at Anonymous Bites Back. If you guys are gamers, we are on that platform.
Yeah, so VK, that is vk.com/anonymousbitesback. So you can just, the stream is there too directly. So if it has issues for you on YouTube, you can just click it there and you can also watch it. So.
Yeah, VK doesn't censor anything.
No.
I could be streaming porn all day long and they wouldn't do anything about it.
All right, man. I'm liking VK more and more. It's like BitChute, man. You can't do anything to get, well, almost anything to get kicked off.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What's on today? Should I go to politics? I know I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today, Cohen said that he lied to Congress and he lied in court, and he's basically saying that yeah, Trump knew about all of the shit that was going on with Russia and the Moscow meetings, and I don't know. I've been hearing it left and right. I've been hearing it left and right on most media sources that the impeachment will ensue, and they don't see this. They don't see Trump finishing out his 4 years. You know.
I mean, we'll see. It's just, I mean. Yeah, I mean, well, like, as much as I have to say, like, hate to say it, we'll see. Cohen's going to jail for sure. I mean, Trump will throw. Well, that's not. You know, we've got presidents that are legitimately war criminals, and yet, I mean, this is so what you had a meeting about, and that's what it's about to put a Trump Hotel Moscow.
Well, that looks like a bribe. It's a $50 million bribe. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It's such a corrupt system. Like, it's hard to tell sometimes. Like, stuff that would get you and I put in jail, right? Like, running somebody over with your car. That would get you and I put to jail. You can shoot judges in the face, like things that you'd be like, oh shit, you should be going to prison.
Or you can shoot the vice president. Or you can get drunk and shoot quail and shoot friends and.
We're drunk. I was drunk as fuck and shot a judge in the face. I would be, if not the chair. In Texas, there's minimum sentences for crimes when you're, with firearms for being drunk.
Yeah, like, is it against? I don't know the legality there, but I imagine there are, like incompetency. You could be like, you get like a misdemeanor for incompetency with a firearm.
I am a black man in America. You shot a judge in the face.
Drunk
enough to shoot a judge in the face, and you are still, you know what I mean? Shit, they're still giving you out awards and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah,
well,
right.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're Hillary Clinton, you can sell uranium to the Russians, and Mueller can give the samples on the tarmac, and then you get to be the good guy. And the special counsel who gets to judge everybody else. I mean, hey, man, only in America could you do that.
Wait a minute. Are there nuclear material swatches? Is that what we're describing here? Like it's a nuclear material, depending on how I don't know, much oil your country has.
I don't know, man. He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to our intelligence agency. He basically says, "Yeah, you guys can murder what's the guy's Khashoggi, and hey, but there's too much at stake with us and the Saudis." I'm like,
Trump, he didn't hide it. He didn't say there was too much at stake. He said there's a shitload of fucking oil money.
Yeah, that's basically. Yeah, he basically was pretty blunt about it. Yeah.
And that's what makes this hilarious, is because there is nothing in all of the bullshit that he talks. That's not something that they called him out about, because that's true. You didn't hear them say, "Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, can you believe that Trump said it was all about the money?" Well, it is. It is all about the money. Y'all aren't doing nothing about it, because, dude, if I have someone, right, tortured, dismembered, and their body, what?
It's cool. It's cool. They got all the gas, bro.
He knows the king, man. He didn't do it, all right? You know,
fuck is
the king said he didn't do it. Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. To the entire world, what the fuck is a king?
Well, the king is for little people who haven't grown up in the world. They might be adults, but their brains are still stuck in, as little people who need to be lorded over. See, as long as that's your mindset, well, hey, they'll gladly fill that breach. If you need a king and a queen, then, you'll get what you deserve, if you're that pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, that is some of it. Like, hey, if you need a king or queen, man, there's definitely people that are willing to spin that story for you.
Yeah, start bowing down. Get on your knees, damn it.
They need you to. You're going to need to kiss some hands, suck some dick, right? Like, that's just how it works. And not right?
I guess I'm watching this YouTube chat, and I guess we're pissing people off. Oh, well.
Oh well.
Guys, they're calling us libtards again. Like, talk some shit about Clinton and stuff, too. They're even more corrupt.
Well, we were.
Well,
uranium won. Doesn't that mean?
Well,
anything?
it's like they think that people think that an anonymous is left or right. We're kind of neither. We don't believe in the system. We don't. It doesn't.
No, look, man. Okay, whoever's on our YouTube, I can't see the YouTubes, right? I can't see the YouTube chatter right now, but it doesn't particularly matter, right? We're saying this thing is a complete and utter fucking circus. Just Trump happens to be the ringleader right now. Like, that's it. Like, whether they're elephants or donkeys running around in a circle, or the fucking the news media juggling it in front of us, right? Some magicians back and forth. It doesn't matter. It's all an absolute circus. It's just that he happens to be the ringleader right now. He's the guy that's in front of us. So
yeah, like the Broadway actor in the house right now. Like,
yeah. So yeah. We can talk about all of them, but they're all part of the same system. And if you think that somehow we're on the neoliberal fucking democratic, whatever the fuck you want to make it.
Well, right? the fact that you labeled us is, it just tells me that you don't understand.
Yeah. Come on.
Well, I'm personally offended. Look, I am the right-wing nut. I am not a libtard. I mean, all you guys know that.
Yeah. You're like the outcast. You're like, what?
Yeah. I'm just the guy that cleans the toilets around here, and that's okay.
How dare you talk like that? All right, I am a libtard. Okay, hands down. I've got my where's our but no. I'll take that. Fair. Bleeding heart hippie, whatever you got. Hit me.
Yeah, regarding what I'm used to, I could pretty much be called like a communist in the USA, because in here it's so different, the politics. I mean, here in Amsterdam, it's just different. Politics just moved in different directions, and
I love how
free healthcare stuff and all that stuff. So
I love how our entire political conversation, in the U.S. and the world, divulges into these like kind of nameless, like no information, just taglines back and forth from each other. Oh, you're a libtard. Oh, you're a Republican. You know what I mean? Oh, KKK. It's just one advertising campaign off of the other, and people buy that shit.
Yeah, well, let them just look into Clinton's dead friends. Let them just end the Federal Reserve, and
you're not libtard because of all the things you're against. You're saying libtard because it's fucking trendy, right? That's why people are. It's like that you buy the Pepsi and Coke version of political discourse.
You're dealing with a system that's entirely corrupt, both parties, and the fact that there are only two big political parties, that should tell you enough already. Like,
well, it only even kind of restricted because we don't control language, right? Because we don't control where, in a lot of cases, the language that's used, we don't even get to use words to describe what we want. We're stuck with these archaic socialism, communism, ismism. Right, all these different isms that were made 2, 5, 1,000 years ago. They don't even represent what people want in the world, but we're stuck arguing about them in terms that don't what people want. Stuck, but yet we'll kick out a constant stream trendy hashtagable line from hashtag Libtard.
Yeah, well, just a reminder that this is not actually a QAnon broadcast, not an Antifa broadcast. Not,
Yeah,
whatever you
Anonymous.
wanna call it.
Anonymous is not Antifa, and Anonymous is not QAnon. Sorry.
It's just anonymous, and it represents everyone, like 99%. Like, there's no specific opinion. We don't have like group opinions. Everyone who wants to can just come on our show, and whatever. We don't have like a show opinion. We have like a mix of all kind of people, like we just said. So whatever.
Yeah,
I'm sure
we've had journalists on here and got a wide range of guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
we're
a
trying
wide.
media refuses to do, right? And give the people a voice to show what's actually going on. The bottom line, right? We can force the media and other people to do the same, but I think we try to best give an open and honest opinion. Ask not just the questions that we want to hear. Look, if you guys don't know, a couple of weeks ago when we had some QAnon guys on here, they got.
Oh yeah, we gave the QAnons a platform to step on, and they know the difference between that they are not us and we're not them.
Well, even then, we were like, okay, well, our guest has left, but we were still people that have questions and have things. We'll go on the sites and look, these are the things that they said, and we'll try to, hold up the, play the devil's advocate, even if you don't even, you're asking the questions, trying to ask questions.
Oh yeah, Terrence. We're getting some complaints that I can't understand you because you're breaking up. You need to get closer to that mic.
That QAnon guy we got in, he was pretty reasonable. That Monkey Man. People can find him on Twitter. He's got like a big following.
Well, there's a big difference between anonymous and QAnons. QAnons believe that the anonymous poster on 8chan is a guy who has Q clearance, who is revealing all of this insider information, and he is going to bring down all the shit. But you have to trust Okay, according to QAnon, Edward Snowden is a traitor. So is Julian Assange. Trump has all the answers, and Trump will get rid of all of the problems in the United States. And
yeah, so I mean,
there is a big difference.
Honestly, guys, listen to that.
I'm sorry, but Edward Snowden, in my view, is not a traitor. Julian Assange is not a terror. He is not affiliated with a terrorist organization group. He is a journalist. And me personally, I don't believe that Trump has all the answers. So I do not agree with the QAnon shit.
So far, the answer's been deregulation and give the rich tax break.
And and we dug into the QAnon shit. We think we know who is behind it. Okay, it is a John. Isn't it like we think it may be that that guy that used to work on the guy who took over the QAnon accounts after the original guys left.
Yeah, they're directly involved with the social media team of
Donald Trump. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think that's more than obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but I can't blame them. I mean, and the other side is doing the same thing too. I mean,
what they're getting is like when Hitler had his SS, they had his like really weird cult followers. That's kind of what QAnons are.
I mean, to step back, I really think there's just a lot of people that are searching for leadership that doesn't exist.
Someone is saying Assange is Q now. I want to warn you that the Q movement claims that Assange is already safe and all that stuff. And you know that the Assange mother already talked about this, and she's very angry that Assange is actually not safe, and he actually still needs help, and he's not in any safe place, and he still needs support. So, yeah. Please don't listen to any of that stuff. I mean,
there has to be a point.
Well, Miss Assange, Julian's mother, had stopped tweeting earlier this month. I don't know when she'll be back, and that's how bad the situation has gotten. You know
that both the U.S. was continuing to prosecute him, and that he, all of the problems at the embassy, that same day.
Yeah, well, we are in touch with Christine Assange. She refuses to do anything on air, but she does want to do like written interviews now. But she stops tweeting, and she's.
I'm not even sure if her account is even active, where she's reading messages now. That kind of worries me.
Yeah, we're not allowed to like patronize her. She said, like, she's not a victim, and she wants to like make very clear that she is a fighter and not scared. So they are still being attacked, and they need every support they can get. Courage Foundation is doing their best, so you can just look at the Courage Foundation for any info on that.
Well, if we get an impeachment, Trump won't have to worry. Or no, sorry, Assange.
Yeah, but I mean, Mueller's going after Assange as we speak, right? That was the deal. Put this in the line out. I don't know what game was played to try to, like, he was connected to it. But I imagine the plan was that when they take down Trump, they'll move on Assange at the same time as being one of the collaborators. Now, that doesn't seem to have panned out, but that seems to be where Mueller was going. Remember, the investigation being investigated, Mueller is also in Assange.
Okay, we got like a hardcore Q supporter.
I enjoy your passion. To get on here and defend it, I'm like. Here's the deal. Like, give me a good defense for our loving of Saudi Arabia. That's all I want. Right? I'll call it even after that. Just post run on there. You've seen how Trump has acted into this, and we weren't going in that. But with the real things, the genocide and the weapons deal, the nightmare, top of the cultish, kingship. Right? Give me a good reason why you would support the Saudis. Just one.
He says he doesn't defend Q, but he defends the data he found. There is a lot of data released, and some of the data is really interesting.
Some of it has come true, but it's not hard to connect some of those dots that he's put out.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what the plan is. If they can relay to me what the plan is, because it's so good. Yeah, no, it's a good plan. They say it's a good plan. I just want to know what it is.
I always get I always tell myself that I can't trust people who speak in riddles.
Well, and it's one of those, like, okay, the whole, like, a real leader is going to want you to follow them as a real leader, not because they have a secret. Oh no, we're just going to get huge tax cuts to the go ahead, tax cuts, just right in there, no problem, right? Like, there's certain things that, like, literally, Goldman Sachs, like, you guys were the ones, like, same group were the ones that were railing against the world domination and the international banking cartels and all of that. Like, those were the right, talking points. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you found yourself with Goldman Sachs bankers. Yeah, they're not part of it. You were just screaming about the Illuminati and all of that shit.
Yeah, well, from an outsider, I would say just do something to end the Federal Reserve and Citizens United.
Didn't Trump? It wasn't that part of the plan? Trump's plan? He was going to end it.
He's still saying that, but he needs
the last guy that tried to end it got a bullet in his head.
Well, Jackson had a hatred, and that plan. Now Jackson is a genocidal fucking rapist, and so, like, really.
Well, Jackson let them in the first time,
but Jackson was extremely against the Fed, and that seems to be part of Jackson's presidency that Trump has completely skipped over. I'd love to see a journalist be like, "Oh, he's your favorite president. How do you feel about the Fed? How do you feel about Jackson's writings on the Fed?" He was not a fan.
Yeah, I know what Tyler said too. Like the last one who tried it, the last ones who tried it, like all ended up dead. So
He ended up with a bullet in his head.
It's just like, I don't know. I would like all of my leaders to have a lot, and that goes for Hillary Clinton as well. Like, you guys have way too many pictures with tyrants and dead people.
yeah, but the bankers, they have to realize that the bankers controlling these systems, like the Federal Reserve, but also the European Central Bank, they don't really care about the countries.
Everybody
just,
doesn't know. Yeah, these are the elite. These are the deep state. These are the guys you call the Illuminati. These are the guys. These are the guys with the strings that connect everything together, that are manipulating everything you see. It's the guys with the money.
Yeah, they use these tax schemes. They're not dependent on any country, so they can destroy any country, and they will just do their job from another country, and they actually benefit from destroying countries too. Like,
well, look, it's been known. I write about it constantly. This isn't hidden. You have to destroy a country's economy. You have to destroy a country to take advantage of its resources. That's well. Now the key word is take advantage. You could trade with them. You could go on an even playing field, but no, they want to take advantage of people. And the way to do that is to destroy the country.
Speaking of which, it was really, speaking of a weird elitist fucking with the system. 2 days before the stock market crashed or dipped about 500 points, and then kept on going down for like 3 days. George Soros put out all of his investments 2 days before the crash.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dumped his stock, and he's now 200 to 300 million ahead on his shorts. I mean, this guy. I mean, is he really that good a trader, or is this rigging? I mean, come on, dude.
He's got one smart thing he always does. He has his own private investments, and he also does the investments for like a $500+ billion dollars investment network. So usually what he does is like he first makes the move himself, and then he makes the investment company do the move. So he always profits on it. Like whatever, if he buys some stock for like 2 billion, next day the 500 billion investment company buys these stocks, so it goes up huge, and he always makes the private profit with his own investments already. So this guy is really smart.
Oh, this guy can undermine entire countries. He undermined the entire English economy. Boom.
Yeah, in the past he attacked Sweden too with his investment, and they were pretty much they destroyed the Swedish currency, and the Swedish country was pretty much forced into the European Union because the Eurozone was too big to manipulate for people like that. So, yeah.
I destroyed countries' fake idea of money with my fake idea of money.
Yeah, you're talking about like Sweden has like a GDP of like 600 billion yearly, and you're talking about an investment company that owns 500 billion. It can like pretty much destroy your entire economy. But then like you force Sweden to move into the Eurozone that has like a $30 trillion or something yearly or more economy, and they can't really manipulate that. So this is like you're like forcing them in the obvious way out, and that's
to have no empathy for any of the people that live there. None of the lives that you are going to affect by destroying their company. That doesn't matter. Just profit. We're going to make. You're not rich enough, right? George Soros isn't rich enough. He's got to play more games. And even then, he's to the end of whatever the lifetime of intergalactic or interdimensional lizard people are. I don't know how long. To be honest, it depends on how much blood they drink. I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to become fake news. I don't know specifics on what intergalactic or interdimensional lizard people drink.
Yeah. Well, there's also an entire group of people that call anyone who like attacks people like Soros now racists.
Yeah.
But we're not like, we don't really care about what kind of background or nationality, but it's just the fact that they are like rich billionaires.
I don't understand. Like we're attacking him as I don't understand attacking him as racist. How? Like is billionaires being a race of people?
Hey, the billionaires are the race of their own.
Yeah.
If a racist takes over another country, is that a bad thing, or is that okay now?
Well, no, I just don't understand how sort of like schemes. I don't understand how calling that out is racist, or what race are we? I don't understand.
Yeah, we're not. Some say we're not allowed to talk about like the 1% anymore. So yeah.
Okay. Here, I'll get around it. The Hebrews that claim to be Jewish. Can we? Does that narrow it down a little bit?
Well, yeah, that's what you would call Zionists. They're not religious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like okay. So is Russia, Hungary, and now Turkey, are they racist for kicking him and his scumbag NGO out of the country?
Well,
are they racist?
That's his own country. The Hungarians don't like him as well.
Yeah, I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, your own people don't want you. I mean, that says a lot. I don't know what the hell we're thinking. He's a good guy, or why our people work with him. It's.
Oh no! Look, we work with them. They are good people. We don't work with anybody that's good people.
When is the last time America promoted a pro-freedom nationalist candidate? They always hand you a socialist, a Marxist, or a communist now. Those are your three choices. Or maybe, a total corporate scumbag like a Mark Zuckerberg type. They'll give you those, but you never get a guy that gives a shit about the people in the country. That never happens anymore.
Yeah, not in a long time.
Well, I mean, I can't think of anyone. And then when you do pick people, you have to ignore quite a bit of truth behind it. So when it is about the people, it's about a very specific people, right? And you have to ignore complete nightmares that are going on around it. It's difficult. Those leaders really don't exist. They may never have existed. Maybe the time where we're demanding those kind of things is a new thing. People, to some extent, the way that you were talking about, people wanted a king. They were comfortable in a king. And then there was the elite and the 1% and the banksters. The banksters know what's going on, right? Like there always seems to be this elite group of people that we put in charge, but we may be coming to the end of that. It's no longer chic to be a peasant.
Yeah, it's difficult. I see some people now saying they're anti-Zionist, not anti-Jew, and that is also what it is about, of course, because the inventor of the main inventor of Zionism was Theodor Herzl. He was from Austria. It's a European country, and back then it was still Austria-Hungary and
the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Yeah.
Yeah, and guys like George Soros are also from Hungary. Just saying, but not wanting to make any links or whatever. But Theodor Herzl was an Austrian, and it's like in the heart of Europe, and it is actually a political movement, and has not much to do with any racial background.
Like they do here, right? If you're against, if you're against war, you're against America, you're against Christianity, right? Like they make those connections for. And I think that's been done here as well. Anytime you call somebody out for being just a dirtbag of a person, right, for having no moral compass whatsoever, for the only goal of profit, they always try to put that religious aspect in it so they can use it against you. You can't be against them. You have to be against the religion. And most people are like, "Oh, I'm happy with whatever religion you are." But it has nothing to do with you undermining Sweden. That has nothing to do with you undermining England. That has nothing to do with you causing people to starve, using people as slaves. Using that as a fucking apple. You can't carpet bomb Gaza. Quit just knock that shit out. It's a genocide. Knock it the fuck off.
Yeah, and I have to realize that these people at the top, these real elite, they just use political system, right? And they use religions. And I don't think they're religious or political in any way. They just know the methods how to use these systems to control certain areas. So yeah.
Well, speaking of,
I don't know what kind of religion they really have, but
the ministry
I'm pretty sure.
The Ministry of Defense in Israel resigned because Netanyahu didn't want to keep on bombing Gaza.
Kind of peace deal.
Well, like I don't know if a lot of our listeners, know before Hamas was in Gaza, there was another organization called the PLO, and there was no borders, I believe, in the early 90s, and when the PLO came in, the PLO was a really bad organization, and they were killing Jews internationally. All directed from Gaza. So I mean, there is shit upon shit upon shit on both sides during that era,
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things like, yeah, we're now getting to 3,000-4,000 years of non-stop bloodshed.
Well, actually, 70 years ago, there was no real issue.
Oh no, this is. I mean, there's these like small spots, and it doesn't even break down to the Jewish, Christian, Muslim thing. Like just this area for some reason they're always fighting over. Like even when the Jewish peoples moved there from Israel, they murdered people on the way past on everywhere. Like there's just it's sad that somewhere the quote unquote Holy Land is filled with nothing but
bloodshed. Yeah.
AIDS, it's this, it's that, it's, you know what I mean? At some point, you have to think this is not what God.
Well, I've had a suggestion. I've said this for a while. Is get rid of the settlements in the West Bank and Gaza. Give Gaza back to Israel because there's a problem with Gaza and Egypt, despite what's going on. And then just be a two-state country, just give Palestine the whole West Bank.
Like that's great.
That might work,
Yeah, the country is religious to multiple religions. It's
quite
important
a few,
on multiple
quite
religions.
A few, the Zoroastrians too.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like. Politics really shouldn't even conflict with religion, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know any solution to that.
Well, I mean, like I read a story, in Haaretz, a few days ago that a Palestinian was given a life sentence of 15 years. He was supposed to get a life sentence for selling land to a Jewish guy in Jerusalem. So
yeah,
I mean, like something has to happen eventually,
I think that more with us getting over the fact that we don't own this like at all. All of these problems come from us thinking that we do. And take stupid out is that God, but providence to us, but He never seems to speak up for it. Is bullshit. God didn't do any part of the planet any more than any other part. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, the conflict is being
it's real,
being done from above. It's divide and conquer, and I've seen several documentaries, and I know certain Jewish people who have their houses built there. They actually hire Palestinian construction workers because they have all the construction workers. They have construction work companies, and they actually build houses. So. And they actually try to live in peace together too. So there is from above there is a divide and conquer thing. And it is
go down it, right?
I didn't get any of that.
It's not many walls, right? So it's always you going, right? It's always the people that are something that's not always.
Okay, someone says, who said Israel could take land that is not theirs, and how would we react if the United Nations told us we had to give land to a foreign?
Well, actually, Israel had settlements in Gaza and gave their land to the Palestinians. So there's been a ship-shift of land, a switching of land that's been going on for 70 years. And actually, if you want to blame anything, there was British colonialism that was going on before that. So that hasn't even been discussed on the table if you want to talk about stealing land.
Yeah, that is in the 20s. The British.
That was
had
before
control
that,
of
yeah.
the
So,
region.
so if you want to talk about stealing land from the Palestinians, you can blame the British.
That's right.
And even then, it gets into that same ownership game. It gets into that same weird mindset. Somebody walked
Well,
in, you owned it, and you didn't tell them that they were free. The British signed a paper that said that I have to kill my neighbor for the next 300 years.
well,
You do make a good point about the UN, by the way. So, like, what if the UN just decides to take your stuff and then gives it away?
Well, the UN doesn't do anything. They just say that they will, and they don't do anything. They don't.
What if the UN sent peacekeepers to the genocides around the world? What if the UN did anything?
When was the last time the UN actually used their military force?
Look,
The UN, like, remember Srebrenica, like genocide.
Yeah.
UN doesn't do anything. They can't even protect like people in like Yugoslavia against.
Turfing says that land has been stolen for 10,000 years. That is true. It's been somebody else's land. Yeah. He
it's
is right.
all somebody else.
It's been always it's been a switching of hands for forever.
I don't
Well,
understand it.
Yeah, but they actually did. They actually all did live there long ago already. Palestinians too. They actually it was called Palestine in long ago, but they actually all lived there in peace.
There was the
And,
Persians, then there was the Sumerians, the Persians.
it's actually
The Turks, the Ottoman Empire at one point, right? Didn't the Ottoman Empire sweep down there once?
yeah, and then later on, like the Crusaders and stuff tried to like had to like free it again from that empire, and but
they lost
actually.
it.
When you read
Oh,
about
they had-
history, Muhammad was fighting against all kind of groups, and he also traveled to the Israeli region, and he actually said like he was only accepted there by Jewish elders, and he actually said like we have to respect the other peoples of the book. Like this is literally like how this Muhammad from Islam said like we have to respect other peoples. They are people of the book like us.
Yeah,
So-
all sons of everybody. I guess and that's what makes it creepy. Like everybody that's going to die in our lifetime, all believes that they're doing it for God, for the same God. Which it's a nightmare. It makes no sense.
Everyone just wants to control it, like the Holy Land or whatever. It is.
Why? Why? In what part? What part of that where it becomes okay? There is nothing holy about this. This is a nightmare.
I've been saying that for a long time.
Good.
Sit on it. This is not positive.
It's very difficult. Like I don't have any solutions to it. I don't know. Like, but maybe they should start with having like separate religion.
Well,
from,
what they need to do is they need to open up policies so that they can legally, so that the two nations can legally talk to each other. That's a start, you know.
Just stop murdering each other.
Well, no, they on both sides they literally have an opposition. They literally have laws where they can't talk to each other directly. So
yeah, I mean Palestine. Like if you talk about the UN, Palestine has already been accepted in the UN with I think over like 190 countries or something recognized it, and
Well, didn't you
yeah,
see the another country signed a little piece of paper that their special building is something else, and that changes everything.
what special building?
Yeah, we moved our embassy to.
Oh yeah. How they moved it to Jerusalem. Yeah, that was a political stunt.
Yeah, but the fact that it matters,
Yeah.
like it's a political stunt only because we don't care where the American embassy is. We don't care where the embassy is. A fuck.
Yeah.
Jerusalem is holy to all these different parties, and like say this is the heart of Israel, then it is yeah, going to
Visiting
piss
someone-
people off.
That matters to me. No, it's a nightmare, but a man-made, man-perpetuated.
have going on in the world besides. Yeah, we've had quite a few shows about Palestine.
Gab raised $1 million for free speech. He said.
Yeah, Gab. That's the second $1 million they've raised, right?
Yeah.
They,
The last time they had to raise $1 million, I believe it was for to pay off for the Gab.com domain site that GoDaddy was holding hostage.
Yeah, so they started their own provider now too. It's called Epic.com. That's EPIK, so it's Epic with a K.com, and they say like support them and move your domains over from the GoDaddy to Epic.com. Is there? Yeah.
You know, Gab has gotten a lot of shit over the last month or so, and
yeah. They're like super racist now. Yeah. It's being said in the media.
But that's only 10% because their motto is defend free speech with free speech. You know.
Yeah, and now some Jewish writers actually spoke out in favor of Gab and said like, no, this is like literally the only place I'm allowed to write on, whatever I say. So, yeah. I'm not sure. It is difficult, like because Twitter also censors people, and like Gab is like so similar to Twitter, but Twitter also censors certain speech, and it's also in favor of certain.
Well, they censor hate speech. They'll censor hacking links. They really haven't enforced that well, but that is part of their terms of service. Yeah, they censor a lot of shit.
Alright, Turving says Airbnb is going to be banned in Florida because it won't rent houses in the occupied territories of Palestine.
It is no. That it's more specific, Turving. Airbnb took 200 properties off their listing in the, I believe it was in the east side of Jerusalem, which is still technically in the West Bank, where there are what do they call them, Jewish communities in occupied territory, which is disputed territory. But they Airbnb said that they would not have any they would not list any properties that are in disputed territories. But the other listings, if you want to have it in Tel Aviv and Golan Heights, they still have listings with your Airbnb, but just not in disputed territories of Jerusalem.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty up to par on that one.
So yeah, but like I said, I don't really care whatever political opinion Gab has. I mean, they should just be allowed to do their stuff. No matter how extreme they are, you have to allow, except for of course threats and you don't have to allow doxing of innocent people. You don't have to allow threats and violence and stuff. But I would say like pretty much any form of speech should be allowed. But yeah, I don't know. You need to like a place. You need to have like a place
or a format. It. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate, that free speech, attracts people, that are racist and whatever. But that's part of free speech. People are gonna say shit you don't agree with,
Yeah, and also. People who are like against racism, that includes us of course too, but many people say like you can't allow them, it's hate speech, right? But they have to realize that people like Hitler only became big after they were arrested. Their speech was silenced, and then suddenly they had like the victim position. They could say like, no, the establishment is attacking my free speech, and I'm actually trying to attack the establishment, and then they simply provide proof of their attacks against the establishment, and they will get like a huge amount of support because they will use this. Like, you can't censor them. Like if you censor Alex Jones, like Alex Jones has like a lot of weird stuff. I don't consider him a racist, but he's kind of like a nationalist. And then when he gets censored,
I don't know. Like when it comes to like Muslims and stuff like that, I hate to say this, but he is a tad racist there. You know?
Yeah.
A tad.
Okay,
a tad.
Anti-religious.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like anti-Muslim. Yeah, that is possible. But the second you start censoring them, you're actually victimizing them. You're making victims of them while they are actually the aggressor. And that is like the exact thing they need to grow.
Oh
so
shit! Somebody pointed out we lost Terrence.
Yeah.
Oops.
Terrence, yeah. Sorry, he'll be back. They don't like him. The three-letter agencies listening don't like him to be on our show. So.
Oh god.
Yeah, but that is difficult. You have people attacking. Like if you have Trump saying stuff about Mexicans, he is actually technically not a racist because he's like anti-Mexican. Mexico is a country and not a race. Then you have Alex Jones who is like attacking Muslims. Technically, he's not a racist. He's like attacking another religion. So then you have like multiple definitions of hate speech. You have like the anti-race thing. You have like the anti-sexuality, anti-gay thing. You have like the anti-religion, anti-certain nationalities. You're like making a very broad perspective of racism. Right? There is you have to look at also at the historical context, because if you look at like the 30s or in the 20s in Europe, you had actually also British nationalists saying like all Russians are scum, all Germans are scum.
Yeah.
They were not considered racist; they were considered patriots back then.
Yeah.
And
it all depends on which side you're viewing the history.
Yeah. They were considered patriots. You had like Americans did the same thing. They also like made depictions of Germans in World War I. So this was not about the Holocaust and all the stuff yet. It was about World War I. They also made depictions of Germans as like monkeys, and it was all about being anti-German. And you have the Russian always being depicted as bears, for example.
Or they used to put Hitler as a cross-dresser. Goes quite often. Yeah.
Yeah, you have. They say about the Russians is like the big bear looking to get control over the entire world, from like a bear eating everything. They still use that even now. They still like associate Russia with the bears, and it all has to do with pictures in the 20s and 30s of made by American propagandists, and yeah. And they depicted the Germans as King Kong taking their ladies with them. I have World War I pictures. You see that King Kong on it, and with a lady in his hand. Like, we have to attack the shores and beat the big monkeys, the big ape. But it was all political propaganda. They were not different. This is all political, and. It is a form of dehumanization used in propaganda, and it works very well because people don't want to kill other humans, but they have no problem killing animals. So you have to depict your enemy as animals, and it triggers something in their brain to support you. So it is like human instincts they work on. Like humans have like built-in instincts to work together. That's how we are more powerful than other animals, but there is also a hunter instinct, and they actually play with this hunter instinct to have people hunt animals. And it is a very interesting propaganda technique. Yeah. So it is mass hypnosis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone says Jewish is also a religion. Yeah, no, historically is also a group of people like I don't make any definitions of races. I don't believe in any races. So I think all humans are the same. But
Yeah.
whatever definition they will give. And like it's more like culture or like some group of people banding together, having like a similar religion or whatever. Originates from some smaller tribe or whatever religious cult, anything might be. But all humans are the same, I guess.
What do we have? Did you hear about this one? Jack Ma from Alibaba was declared an official member of the Chinese Communist Party.
Really?
Yes. This is from Reuters.
The Chinese Communist Party has 89 million members. That is almost like 14% of the entire world is a member of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, so when you're buying on the Cyber Monday, when you're getting those Raspberry Pi boards really cheap from China, just remember that you're supporting communism.
Yeah. Buy from Alibaba, support the communism. Yeah.
I was surprised, to see that. I saw that report on Monday. That one kind of surprised me because Jack Ma always speaks about entrepreneurship and starting from nothing and gaining and being a billionaire, and it doesn't that's not quite what Marxist or a Marxist belief is. I don't get it.
No, I'm not even sure how like the party of Mao can even still be called Marxism. Like it is it's so difficult. Like it's all interpretations of Marx, like Stalinism and Leninism, and even fascism is an interpretation of Marx. Different one, but yeah. It is. These old communists say like there's never been a state that has like been truly communist. It's like all interpretations of it.
Oh, somebody doesn't know which Jack we're talking about. We're talking about the owner of Alibaba. He's worth about 40 billion, something like that. No, 38 billion. Yeah.
He's like super rich, yeah.
He's like one of the richest guys out there. I think
he must be like
I think the
top 3 in China.
Something like that, yeah. And he has a like weird shaped head.
I've heard him speak. He was like refused on like American universities and stuff, and he went to like a local college or like a local school, and he pretty much is self-made. He says.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Jack Ma.
Ah.
Yeah. The owner of Alibaba Group. The Chinese eBay or business-to-business eBay.
Or it's straight from the manufacturer to your house. Yeah. That's why they're so cheap.
They'll take over eventually, like most of the small product sales. They just have to like they're like building supply lines still with more train tracks. Right now they're building a huge train track between Russia and China, and that will like pretty much like destroy like a German industry. That's what they're scared of, because right now only small products are delivered by plane and they will arrive fast, but like large products have to come in like a container. It takes like 4 weeks or like 2 months to even get here. So it's not interesting for the small buyer. But when the train track between China and Russia is done, they can have larger Chinese goods. Like in Europe in like 3 or 4 days, and then we can pretty much move all European industry away, because we can't compete with Chinese manufacturers. So So.
Yeah, I don't understand why Trump, got into some shit with the Chinese when they make everything that we buy, pretty much.
Yeah, we like killed all Western production, right? We moved everything to Asia.
Yeah.
Like, we were all like looking to produce cheap. We've been like make clothes in Indonesia and stuff, and
Vietnam, yeah.
yeah, I have kids make our clothing, and we were all okay with that. And now we're getting the result of it. We don't have any industry here.
No. Well, GM, they're stopping production of the Chevy Volt in the United States. That's gonna suck.
Okay, but and now I actually did read that Apple is creating new production facilities in the USA, but they're all ran by robots. Yeah. Not even humans working in it. Like, it's all robots. And Amazon is also replacing its employees with drones. It's like,
I have heard of that.
yeah, like you're like making. They like literally booked airspace. Like they bought like airspace, like a certain height, between a certain height, like between like 30 feet or whatever, and 50 feet is like their height now, and it will only be reserved for Amazon drones. And
so they can legally fly the drones.
yeah, they will have like thousands of drones delivering packages.
That just seems so ridiculous. I mean, I just can't imagine. I mean, you'd need an army of people just to fix those drones. It can't be worth it. Yeah.
I could just imagine somebody from the hood, just throwing a fucking whatever at it just to get the package,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you need to have like cameras and stuff on every drone too. And yeah.
Yeah, it's like something out of the Jetsons. I don't think we're there yet. Yeah.
That's the stuff they want, Amazon. They got the money for it. They will try it, but like these drones are pretty big if they're going to carry packages. So what if these things drop out of the sky and like hurt people? And yeah, I don't know.
I think in Dubai they're already the police are using the same technology. They have like ATV like drones where like they can hop on it and fly around.
Oh, like a
drone. Yeah, you can ride like an ATV.
Oh wow, that's what I was thinking. It's one of those cars. Like what movie is it from? Like Star Wars, but
Back to the Future.
No, they used to one of those space movies. It probably was Star Wars, where they had those bikes you could hop on, and I don't remember what they were called, hyper bikes, but they stay low to the ground. They could haul ass and everything.
Yeah. Somebody says 4chan is breaking up for monetization.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that too. Serena, she says that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't hang around her anymore since 2015. I mean, Moot sold the entire thing.
Well, Moot left a long time ago. So.
Yeah.
Who's running it now?
That 2channel guy. I don't know. There is actually it's an ex-US Army officer, Jim Watkins, who's actually running it now. So.
Oh.
Yeah. No, but the 2chan took it out. 2channel it was actually called 2channel. But, yeah. It was owned by a Japanese guy, Nishimura. Yeah, in 2015, Mood sold it. I don't know. I don't visit it anymore since then.
I mean, 8chan's owned by a midget.
Yeah, Hot Wheels. What's it called? Hot Wheels. I don't know. He also works with. I don't know if he's even running it anymore. He's involved still, of course, but
probably.
Well, you say they're selling this. I mean, it's like a business. I mean, they're actually selling. Like, this entity 4chan or 8chan.
Let's check. Officially, Jim Watkins owns 8chan too. So. Yeah, old guys. Why aren't they pissed off that it's all owned by the same guy?
What else do I have? George Soros, Open Society, was kicked out of Turkey.
Erdogan is like a very nationalist guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's battling with Americans, he's battling with the Europeans, and there's some powerful forces in his country want to actually have Turkey in the European Union. And you have like this Gulen movement, they're like pro-American. Like the guy actually lives in America, and they're all fighting for power in the country. But Erdogan has a lot of support from the nationalists, and kind of like a Trump kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Bloomberg posted an article that, for Trump may be impeached. And that was going up a few hours ago. I think we already talked about that.
Yeah, you have this ongoing alleged activities on both extremes. Have these things that they think are going on that never happen. It's. I mean, I see these bullshit articles probably coming out of Facebook media or somewhere. It's just like they know how to light up each side to think that something's going on. And there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
None of that's happening. We got 35,000 sealed indictments. This is the stuff I see on the right-wing side. 35,000 sealed indictments. Going to be released this week, Tyler. It's happening, It's real this time. Oh, yeah, well, it was real for 2.5 years, oh, it's real today. Okay, yeah, let me get on board. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, they light up both sides this way.
Yeah, well, they say a lot about bad stuff about the Trump, and he has to be like some asshole to even be there in that White House. But yeah, if you look at historical U.S. presidents, you have like these examples of that. Lyndon Johnson, for example, like did some sexual, had some sexual similarities, but he even like supposedly he tied like explosives to a dog to like blow him up and stuff. Like stories that are about as a kid. So there are other presidents who did like similar things, and they were not indicted for it.
Nixon almost, but he resigned.
Yeah, that's an activity. I guess that's overt. It's like, okay, trying to break in. It's like, well, what do you mean? You didn't have your own moles and infiltrators, and you couldn't get him in the office some other way as a secretary, and not even know it. I mean, you really got to break in like a bunch of, God, what's that crew? I was thinking way back in the 20s. Yeah, just we're gonna sneak in. We're plumbers. Well, it's a bunch of stalls here. There ain't no plumbing around. What the hell are you guys doing here? You don't even make it look right, and then you get caught. Whatever.
He's not a crook, right?
Yeah, you couldn't just tap the phones with the CIA. Nobody would have known about it. No, you had to send guys in there, and they're like Looney Tunes.
I think they will pretty much stay in power as long as the establishment still needs them, as long as they're still useful for the establishment. I mean, yeah, if they still do if they vote so they make certain moves on specific goals of the establishment, they will just stay in power. They're just actors, these people. So yeah, if you want to get them out, then you have to you have to get 1 million people on the street and march against Federal Reserve, march against specific buildings, turn all Federal Reserve buildings into shelters for homeless veterans or something.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Just raid all the Federal Reserve buildings, change them into shelters for the homeless, and then you change something in the U.S. I think. And it happens. I mean, historically it happens, but it's long ago. Before it's a long time ago that this kind of stuff really happened in countries. I mean, in Europe it happened too. I mean, people burned the Reichstag building in Germany. They burned it.
It seemed like Europe at one time, they used to go through whatever, about every 40 years, 60 years, they used to chop off their king's head, or there was some big revolution. It was just like up and down all the time, but it kept, there were still people getting mad every so often, you know. Now it's like it's been hundreds of years since there's been any kind of cleaning of the house, you know, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, and you're just like, my God, when is everybody going to get pissed off and do something? It just never happens. It's like they can put their boot on the people of, you know, like Egypt or, you know, Central American countries where they're making like 300 a month. They never rebel. When they come up here and then they vote for the same losers, that same thinking, you know, from the place they came from. It's like, what's the matter with you people?
Yeah, these people, for some reason, they've managed to get like inside the heads of these the masses, and they just know how to abuse all these opinions in the society for their own benefit. And but you don't really have like an independent media anymore either. I mean, if the media starts just repeating the stuff or the people in power want, then what can you even do? I mean, it used to be like the media is run by the people, and if people come in like the protest against something, then you have like these big media saying like it's time to move against them, and so that is difficult. You have an entire establishment now, and the media became like the Colosseums in Rome now. The army marches, and the media is just the Colosseum giving the entertainment, so the people stay quiet, accept everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
It just amazes me how little it takes, and they can use the same tricks over and over. All they have to do is promise you something. You know, whatever the complaint is, it's like, oh, well, hey guys, I'll work on that when I get back, and just, you know, next time the legislators get together, we'll work on that. You have my word. You know, this is going to take place, and everybody claps and they go, yay, and they all walk away and nothing happens. And then they come back and they're all screaming again, you know, and the guy walks up and plays the same trick again. Oh, hang on, boys, hang on. I understand you're upset and how things worked out last time, but you know, this time, honestly, I'm on it. You know, you got my word, you know. And here they go, oh yay, and then they walk off. It's so ridiculous. Even rats pop out of a loop sometime and figure out what's going on and go the other way, right? I mean, a rat can figure out a maze over time, but these people, they don't get it.
No.
They never get it.
Did you hear this article? CNN fired Mark Lamont for advocating for Palestine.
Yeah, I did see that. I didn't see when he did it or the speech, but that's surprising. I mean, you can get away with a lot over at CNN.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, there is a lot of Jewish money in CNN. You know.
Oh.
That might.
Tyler, you're really going there. Oh wow, man.
Well, I'm Jewish. I can say it. I can fucking say it.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, somebody needs to say it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, like, you know, I like to believe that, you know, the media groups will will not be biased or not have one political view or the other. But you take a look at CNN, and it is one side. It is a biased media group,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. On the other hand, you have like Fox News is also biased. From
That's
the other,
true. Yeah,
side,
yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, they've really gone the other way here lately. It's stunning.
Well, Fox. Yeah, you're right.
It's not much difference anymore. I mean, there's still some difference, but it's like, God, what was it they did the other day? It just fell right in. Oh man, damn. Well, anyway, there's state-run media.
Yeah, it is. Different branches of the state, I guess, just playing a game with each other.
Well, that's the great Masonic trick. Allegedly, they give you these two things and they kind of clash them together in this phony battle, and you're supposed to believe that whatever comes out of that is some solution to something. I mean, that's their big thing.
Yeah,
it's all very controlled, by the way.
This is the dualist thing, kind of like a Discordian principle, like that you always have, like there are two sides of the same coin always, and but you're still voting for the same coin. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you get pissed off at Walmart and you want, well, I'm going to show them. I'm going to go to Target. Well, it's the same guys. Come on. You didn't really go anywhere. You walked across the street.
Did you notice they both sell like Pepsi? You know, they both sell like Pepsi. You're still buying the Pepsi, guys. Yeah. It's difficult. In here it's difficult. In here it's more difficult to see it, but we have the same thing. But we have like 60 political parties.
60?
And about
60?
35.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, but 35 or something are actually competing every elections, and but they're all kind of like, they're either like left or in the middle or in the right, but they're all within this spectrum. They're not, no one is like extreme or anything, and you could all line them up and realize they're all like slices of the same pizza, literally.
Yeah. Mm.
You have a few social parties, like they're more socialist than the right wing, and you have like the right wings, but they're not really right wing. They're like a little right wing. In your country, even the most right wing parties here would be still considered socialists in the USA. So
really,
yeah, they're still they will still be for a free healthcare and all these things. So yeah. And you have the most, what is also weird, actually the most left party in that is the Socialist Party, and they were the first political party in here to talk about Muslim immigration and stuff, and said it would be a problem.
Oh wow!
So the Socialist Party in here is the most left one. It actually says like, "Whoa, the immigration stuff is going to be a problem." And now it is like 10 years later. This may be like 10 years ago they started with that. Now it's 10 years later, and the most right-wing party, which is Geert Wilders, is the PVV. They're anti-Europe, but also anti-Muslim immigration. And Socialist Party no longer talks about that stuff. But now it is just as extreme right-wing. But you can see it is literally what the Socialist Party said 10 years ago. So you're talking about, no, they're literally behind the scenes. They're all just playing their roles.
Yeah.
Today you run with this and we run with something else, and we're like fake debating you, but we actually had the same opinions 10 years ago. What is your actual opinion?
Nobody knows at this point.
That's the problem. Yeah, you don't know. You vote for these people that say things, and you're being duped. Half the time, at least. I mean, they don't stick to their party platforms. It's like, it's just endless promises that aren't kept. Mm-hmm. Anything to get your vote.
Yeah, and you have like literally you have like a Labour Party, which was also like a left side party here. It was actually top 3 parties, very big political party, and it actually yes wants to say like no, referendums are illegal now. We don't no longer want to listen to like the people giving their opinion, that kind of stuff. Like suddenly, like the party that represents like the working class, like says like we don't want to hear the opinions of the working class anymore. We vote against the referendums. So yeah, I don't even know that. I don't even know what you would even vote for in here right now. If like 35 choices, but they're all the same.
They're all the same.
But they give the illusion of choice. I mean, they managed to give a better illusion, I think, than they're managing in the U.S. with just the 2 parties. But
well, there are several parties, but they never really make it anywhere.
We have the Libertarians and the Green Party, I guess, from Jill Stein.
Hey, where's Micro, man? I guess Micro fell asleep, huh?
No, yeah, he went to sleep before the show.
There's that. Someone says the FCC is run by the deep state. If you've been here in the Oost, then you understand the meaning, the club.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're part of the communications.
Well, Jit Pai, does favor the corporations, so he proved it, with net neutrality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also shocking. Like,
well, he's an ex. He used to work for Verizon.
Yeah, like how is it even unbiased? He's like putting like these people there. Like
he's been in so many fucking lawsuits because of that shit of conflict of interest.
Wow.
Wasn't there also like a former Monsanto employee like in the High Court in the U.S. and then voting about deciding about the future Monsanto?
I didn't know about that.
No, you had somebody kicked that out. She's the going to be the EPA head. She's a lawyer, I believe, for Monsanto.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think she's a black gal.
Shocking, really shocking.
Oh man, it's just you're in the hands of the enemy, man. I mean, they can do anything to you.
Yeah. Yeah, in here they banned the glyphosate from Monsanto and many products of them, but only after like all the bees starting to die in the streets.
Yeah, there's a problem with the bee population around the world that's dying, mostly related to pesticides. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was one political woman, and she managed to like make quite some stir about that, and she was able to actually force the parliament to ban the Monsanto stuff. This is one political lady, and else it would have never happened in here. But they actually stopped Monsanto. Yeah. Because she was she was like very I think she was like very independent, and she was able to get a lot of attention for her case, and she showed like all the bees are literally dying. This is not okay. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, worldwide, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So much so that they were thinking about making artificial bees with like drone technology to, like that's kind of fucked up. That's kind of like the fucked up situation that we're in,
They talked about getting the ants to do it. Since they're killing off the bees, now they got to get the ants to do what the bees were doing.
Genetically modifying the ants so they can fly around and fertilize the flowers and shit.
Yeah, man, you just can't leave it alone. It's like, maybe you should just leave the bees alone. Wouldn't that be better? It's just going down this trail of trying to. Oh, and then when the ants do something, well, we're going to have to start doing something to the beetles. And, pretty soon you're not even going to recognize it. You're going to go outside like, what the hell is all this?
Yeah, what's that thing with the bug, big, it's that big, huge bug with a spike on it.
Yeah, what is that? It's like, Oh man, they had this is coming out of this CRISPR stuff. They're calling them gene drivers. It's like not only when these gene driven things get injected, they don't come out like a normal mutation would, where you get like an AA, AB, BA, and all that. You get like the 4. They all come out as the new AA. The old gene is immediately gone, never to come back, and you have this new one. So you're probably already being changed with this kind of shit.
I heard the Chinese are working with the CRISPR machine for. I read an article just like an hour before the show. They're playing around with CRISPR machines to get rid of the to make. They're playing around with the gene that relates to HIV, hoping that it will make the children HIV will have an immunity to HIV. But a lot of people say that it's not safe, and we don't know if it is safe to be fucking around with children and their DNA, while they're in the womb.
Oh
yeah, gene edited babies. Yeah, they're on it.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look.
Well, I've always said that DNA therapy is like or gene therapy is like the future of medicine, but not relating to children. That's different.
They're gonna scramble it up, man. I just know, you know how these corporations do things. They eventually get real, fly by the seat of their pants and loose. And then before you know it, they're just dumping nuclear material into the ocean. Like, oh fuck, we got to get rid of this shit somewhere, right? Let's just pour it into the ocean. Oh, that's a lot better. We don't have to pay to have it stored underground in a safe place. We just dumped it into the ocean. You can't trust them. You think they're really going to do the right thing?
No.
It's like government. You just big corporations, all the same bad thinking. Can't even run an electric power, Tokyo Electric Power. It's probably against the law for us even to talk about that.
Oh, Fukushima?
Especially if we were Japanese. Yeah, you're not supposed to talk about that. So let's talk about it.
It's still dumping nuclear waste into the ocean.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped.
They just wore you out. It's been going on for what? It's got to be almost 10 years. They just wore you out, about you can only get concerned about something for so long before you just go and go, oh fuck it, man. I guess that's just the way it is. They're just going to keep dumping shit in the ocean. Must be okay.
Yeah, we just got to wait 10,000 years until it's safe.
Yeah, don't worry, baby.
What I don't get is that, like, for certain medicines to certain diseases, they need to do so much research, and it will take like 10 years of clinical trials and stuff before it's even released. But with some of that other stuff like GMO, it's like they can just do it or whatever.
Yeah, they don't literally. They literally. I don't believe they have to go through the same approval process through the FDA.
Who's that?
With GMOs.
Oh yeah, they don't have to do much anything.
Yeah.
A blank check.
Isn't that shocking? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a criminal racketeering government, with a set up systemically, so you can't do anything about it. You don't have any say. They give you a system where at the end of the day, you really don't have any say. It all goes into file 13, whatever complaint form you fill out goes into file 13, whatever phone you call, the voicemail gets deleted.
Right. Welcome to the FBI, click.
Yeah, it's just like the snitch line. It's like, okay, Tyler called in. It's like, we got something going on. It's, hey, any of our boys down there? Oh, well, never mind. Yeah, that's one of our guys, so don't worry about it. Just ignore that call. It's okay. And then, you move up the ladder. So, you petition, call, and then, oh, well, you have an elected leader. He's your elected representative, right? He represents you. If you're, oh shit, I got to line in, man. I got to line into the government now. I got this guy representing me, and he don't care a rat's ass about you, man.
Oh, Surgeon General? No,
Sure.
he doesn't. Neither does the Food and Drug Administration. No.
Yeah, if you get into the clerical people in these executive offices, the unelected ones, oh yeah, I mean that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the facade of it all. It's a pretty convincing Hollywood set. You know, I mean, you'd walk in, you look around, you think, okay, this looks like a legitimate government here, and then you start, walking in the door and looking around. You go, hey, what the hell? This is a fake wall here. What is this? Where is everybody?
I do have some news from one of our nons who are locked up. I have two bits of news. I don't know if our listeners know who Jeremy Hammond is, but Jeremy Hammond got into some trouble while at a federal facility, and he is now in solitary confinement and will be transferred to another facility. So, which is not cool. Yeah, I'm not sure why he's in solitary, but that was the news that was relayed to me.
Yeah, they really don't like hackers at all. They really have a hard one for them.
Well, especially what Jeremy did. Jeremy hacked Stratford.
Oh yeah, you got. But I mean, it's not like what you guys do, go out there and kill people. Yeah, if you're Blackwater, or, I mean, there's worse things going on. Why do they have such a hard on for these hackers who, for the most part, are non-violent? You know?
Well, he only got 10 years for what he did. I think there was more time on the table for his charge, but because he basically told the judge that he was guilty and that he did it, they gave him less time. So he'll be out. Yeah. He'll be out in 4 years. 4 years. It's around the corner. And
time goes by, but that's still a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been in jail since 2012, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been.
Wow.
So yeah, he's but wasn't there like a thing that you have like you only have to like serve a specific
80%,
a certain amount of your
yeah 80%. So he might be out in 2 years.
No, let's hope so. I mean, he's just a smart guy who protested against something, and he did it in his own way, and he never wanted to harm like innocents. And, yeah, it's just like they should focus on these hackers who do like credit card fraud.
Well, basically, the fucked up thing about Jeremy's case is the FBI gave him the tools to hack Stratford from Sabu. You know.
Yeah, but you're talking about Sabu and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true.
So I mean that's kind of like a clusterfuck, you know. Like, so the FBI gave a hacker tools to hack the government. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, it's very true, and like he took the bait or something. And they did it. Yeah, but I mean, that crew would have never gotten so far without the
0
actual
days.
0
Yeah.
days. Ah, yeah. I mean, 0 days were just delivered to them, and these 0 days obviously came from the fats. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the guy's name? Sabu's real name, Hernandez. Yeah, he doesn't have that
even
kind of...
Hector
he doesn't,
Monsegur.
yeah, Hector, yeah, he doesn't have that kind of skill set for those kind of 0 days.
No.
Those are government.
No,
those are government 0 days.
Yeah, they were handed over to him, and like back then we were all like so impressed. Like he was like giving like on Skype, right? He was giving conversations of actual FBI agents. Like
oh yeah, when
he had like hacked.
Yeah. Sabu notoriously would call the FBI and tell them that they had like a botnet and they and that he had to contact some guy. It was like a thing where they would call just the FBI just to prank them. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, yeah, everyone was like doing like just these ordinary small time hacks, right? And then suddenly that crew comes and it hacks into like every major security company in the world. Like everyone was shocked, but I can tell you that like more than half of the people never trusted them. Like,
LulzSec? Yeah.
No, of course not, because
then we had Anti-Sec, which was like another Fed operation.
Well, you can't do that kind of stuff. If you're from the grassroots, you can't suddenly deliver that fast. Like if we or whatever would try to like hack into like the FBI or whatever, it would take like weeks or months of research. And I'm not talking about like a small time deface or whatever of a website.
Those Reaper programs that just grab shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like WordPress.
I was gonna say, yeah. Even with those Reaper programs, you still got to decode the MD5 hashes. So it's not like just like, oh yeah, slam bam, thank you, ma'am. I have all these passwords. You know.
Even that takes ages unless they're like already available in some public database. But like to get that high up at so many different security agencies, that is pretty much a red flag. But yeah, like I mean, they were hacked sometimes too. I mean, and I think AnonOps was hacked like 3 times.
I think the funniest shit they did was they hacked PBS and put an article that Biggie and Tupac were still alive on PBS.
Yeah, but in the chat here also they talked about it before, like about Fox News, for example.
Yeah.
They were live on Fox News, and
really, I don't remember that.
Yeah, Topiary went live on Fox News and talked about like how they were so corrupt and manipulating the people and stuff. And he was arrested a few weeks later because someone recognized his voice.
Typical stoner move, dude.
Sorry.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, he was arrested, but obviously he was given a way in, and the guy who gave him the way in was actually snitching to the FBI. So yeah. To be fair, I'm not sure if we can even blame Sabu for doing that, because he of course was also threatened.
Well, yeah, like they're going to take away his kids.
Yeah. But
but still, he was an informant for 3 years, which makes you a rat, though.
Yeah, he was a rat. Yeah, whatever reason was given.
He got a pardon from the judge, and the judge basically commended him and thanked him for his patriotism. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like other crews already said, what they tried to do was actually centralize Anonymous, make like the core of operations on their little IRC server. That IRC server that doesn't allow the Tor to connect to it, for the starters.
Yeah.
A red flag. It still doesn't allow Tor to connect to it. You have to go with like some IP address, your own IP address, or some other IP address.
Is that that .nl site? Is that thing still up? That
I don't know.
The
IRC.AnonOps, you mean, or?
Oh, I thought we were talking about the. No, I was talking about a different IRC. My bad.
Maybe you mean the Cyber Guerrilla. The Cyber Guerrilla does allow Tor on it. But no, the AnonOps IRC doesn't allow Tor. You have to go into a specific channel, and you have to ask for Tor to be allowed.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You should just
It's
leave the
ridiculous.
option open.
Yeah.
Even 2600, you know, the 2600 IRCs let you use them.
Yeah. And then they have all these bots in there, pretty much snooping everything, sniffing all the information out. And funny thing that they still have some of the same bots in there that were there during the Sabu arrest and stuff. But
There's even more secure you know, using even Jabber OTR, you know.
yeah, there are enough ways to actually be secure. But what they did was try. Try to centralize Anonymous, and there were some other hacker crews that attacked them for it. Team Poison raided Anonops and defaced the websites and defaced their stuff, and made sure that they knew that some older hacker crews didn't actually support whatever Sabu was doing. So
It was just mayhem.
yeah.
What'd you guys do? Oh, we put porn on the CIA website.
Yeah. Still scares you when you think about it. Like what this
Like
amount
how?
of shit
Yeah,
is.
that was before they were even doing mitigation on websites. So, I mean, the hacks were a little easier back then, but
Yeah. Okay, so the FBI secret conversations. You had like they were live on Fox News.
yeah. Remember when they had the call-in site where you could call and they would DDoS the website for you?
Yeah. Can you believe that kind of stuff? That is not no. And they all use the same handles too all the time. Like, when they were doing it, like leaving their own handles there. We had back then he was still called Anonymous Abu, but now he's called just Sabu. But everyone knows Sabu now. It was actually Anonymous Abu.
Let me see. What's her name? It's their birthday. Reality Winner's birthday is December 3rd. Let me get some information up for you guys. Billy Winner, her mother wants whoever's a supporter to send her a birthday card. Oh look, I'm losing followers on Twitter. Whatever.
God, you could see it in real time, Tyler. That's incredible, man.
If you guys have a pen or you can write it down, you can mail a letter to Reality Winner at Reality L Winner, inmate number 22056-021. That's 22056-021 at Carswell Federal Medical Center, P.O. Box 27137 in Fort Worth, Texas. Zip code is 76127. Or you can just go to her mother's Twitter at BJ Winter Davis on Twitter, and you will see the tweets. But yeah, her birthday is sorry, not December 3rd, December 4th. Do you want to send her cards? Turfing says I pissed Jack off. Haha. Whatever.
Well, you know, if you're, just own it. If you're a communist, you're a communist. I mean,
Yeah.
is it really that hard?
I don't know.
In today's
today's
world, it's not that big a thing anyway.
I always go from like 2,000 followers back to 1,500, just depending on what I post. Like, I don't think I'll ever go past the 2,000 mark. You know.
Do they get butthurt about some of the things you say?
I think they do.
They're that sensitive.
Sometimes, I mean, like, people think because I'm a non, I like QAnon, and I'm like, I hate trying to explain to the people who are just got on the QAnon wagon that QAnon is not anonymous, and I won't follow you.
Yeah, just stick to the basic thing. Not any political party or any opinion represents all of Anonymous. And if you're going to say like,
I won't follow people who are pound MAGA, pound QAnon. Those are the only two people I will not support. That's it.
No, because they're releasing messages like, yeah, Anonymous, all support the president. Like,
yeah.
No way, that's not going to happen. Like, and like you also have to realize that like the Americans, those are not the only Anons in the world. You have Anons in Indonesians. I think there are more Anons in India than there are in America or in Europe. I mean, what are we even talking about? Like, why should these people be interested in whatever Trump or Clinton
does? We have Anons in Gaza, for fuck's sake, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter shit to them. And if you're going to say like, if you're against the president, you're a LARPer or you must be CIA or whatever. No. Maybe we're not even from your country. Why should we allow you to support your president?
Exactly.
I mean, whether you're blue or red, to us all the bombs look the same. I mean, yeah. Like, yeah, like if we're talking about Gaza or you're talking about Yemen or like Syria or whatever, these people walking around there, they're getting like bombed by like a U.S. airplane. So whether it is Obama or Clinton or Trump or whatever who is in power, these are all the same bombs.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, that's what I don't get it. It's shocking. But I guess they're so patriotic that they only see whatever happens in the U.S. And I have to admit, I mean, the USA is very important to the rest of the world. So yeah, but
it shouldn't be that way, you know. That's what we call this is what we call imperialism.
Yeah, there's only one question I ask myself, and that is like, what if the US is no longer in control and it's actually going to be China as the most powerful?
You are right. It would be either China or Russia. Yeah.
Yeah, the alternative is either China or Russia. And then what kind of situation are we in then? Because, yeah, China has 1.5 billion people and they are not exactly a free country. I would say that there are a lot less free than the USA even. So yeah. We have one political party.
Yeah, and something that I haven't mentioned, I'm not sure if you guys know, there is a population in the west side of China called the Uyghurs, and they are a Muslim population, and right now, well, China has been doing for the last 20 years has been putting them into concentration camps. They basically call them. They think that they're educating them. They're educating the Muslim out of the Uyghur population, and if they don't comply, they kill them. So that's been going on. That's
shocking.
Yeah.
That's. Okay, and they also did that to another group, was called Falun Gong. Pretty much a cult. Was always said as a cult, and yeah, they were also picked up from the street, and their organs were harvested. They were killed, and yeah, they were not allowed to be there. And then there is the Chinese attacking the people in Tibet and Nepal and all these countries around it.
That's why the Dalai Lama is in India, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So India can still block them because India has like a huge population. But the Chinese are smart because the Chinese, they just like have like a country like Nepal has like a few million people. But they allow the Chinese in, and the Chinese simply move a few million Chinese people in, and they actually win with democratic elections. Yeah. So yeah, they just mass immigrate, so to speak. And like to be honest, like if the US would be like super close with China and they would allow full free immigration from China, the Chinese could simply move in 300 million Chinese. It would be not even so many people for their country to move in, and they would simply always vote a Chinese president in power. Yeah, I mean, I think I read that Trump won with like it's like 42 million votes. And Clinton had like a similar amount, a little more, I think. But so technically, they have to move in 50 million Chinese, and they would win any election. And 50 million is not a lot for the Chinese.
No, it's not.
It's like 2 or 3% of their
They have
population.
2 billion people.
Yeah. It's practically nothing. Same for India. Also has like 1 billion people, by the way, so they
Yeah.
could do it too.
Yeah.
Move like 2% of their population, and they can pretty much take over any country they want. Democratically, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But somebody says, but Trump will use tear gas at them at the border.
Yeah, mass tear gassing. Like,
Yeah.
no, that they actually, if you have like 50 million Chinese at the border, at the Mexican border, that they don't even have to climb. They could just make like these towers of people. Like,
Well, I was joking.
Get over
Yeah,
it.
I was joking about this. Remember, like a year ago when I said that Trump wanted to build a wall, and I told you what it was going to look like, and it would be a 20-foot tall steel wall that's painted red, white, and blue with M60s on every 100 yards. And then
Yeah.
and then that's kind of the tactic that they kind of are doing.
yeah, of course. I was wondering, is it only because they want to keep like Mexicans out, or is it because they want to keep Americans in? Like, I've read about people at the border of Mexico and stuff. They go to Mexico for cheap medicines and stuff.
Yeah, I've done that.
So yeah.
People also do that in the Canadian border as well. Yeah, but United States is banning Canadians that are investing in cannabis, so we're kind of like not discriminating between the North and the South, you know.
Okay.
I mean, what kind of government tells their citizens that they can't go somewhere to invest in something?
Well, because
I mean, that
because
is,
they're invested in the cannabis industry. Yes, it's crazy.
yeah, I mean, come on, man. It's just so because they've given up on you, Canada, because you're such a piece of trash and screwed everything up. They need to go somewhere else. Not that they're leaving Canada; they just want to invest somewhere else.
They wanted to
No.
They wanted.
Can't do that. You know, you're not going to invest here, and you know what? We're not going to let you invest anywhere. So how does that sound?
Well, the first case happened when a guy invested into a cannabis clinic in Las Vegas, and they told him that he wanted to go check on his investment. So he went. He basically told them that he invested in the cannabis industry, and he got a lifetime ban for the United States. A lifetime ban. That's crazy.
Yeah, who comes up with this? It's like, you know, so I guess in the Commonwealth countries now, there's no due process. You know, I mean, we kind of learned English common law and that from you guys, and now you're just going to throw it all away. And it's like, no, you know, you're serfs and slaves now. You know, we're going to get back to the old relationship we used to have with you people, and you know, it's the new way.
I don't know. I thought that was Jeff Sessions' thing, but I'm not totally sure. But he's gone.
Yeah, he's a piece of trash. What a coward, man. Can you imagine being a guy like that? He literally sat around for 2.5 years collecting a check.
Basically, that's all
Yeah,
he
he
did.
didn't do shit, man. I mean, I've never seen anybody that's got to sit around that long, and he didn't do anything. He pencil whipped everything, and he accused himself from everything. I mean, he just sat there. He didn't have to do anything.
Basically.
Yeah, and you know what gets me is I remember all these Trump love idiots who were, you know, oh man, this is great. This is the guy in there. I was reminded, it's like, man, what do you mean? You don't remember this guy's voting record and what a piece of trash he is? And they're all like a bunch of seals, like, you know, you're just, You're just like, whoa, man, you talk about short memories. And then he turns into a piece of trash. It's like, well, of course he did. You didn't see that coming? You know why? Because you have a short memory and you're stupid.
Yeah.
It's incredible, man. I mean, these political parties really have Americans figured out. You know, they are so cocked that they could tell them anything.
Yeah, we're pretty fucked no matter who they put in power. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's going to have to be a wholesale change at some point. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't even think the elites, they really don't even give a shit. I mean, here's why we're screwed long term, is because if this is the crappy deal that we're going to be given, this planet's going nowhere. We're never going to get off this planet. We're going to be warring with each other until there are no more resources to fight over.
Oh, that was my next topic.
It's just like, I mean, this is like a plan that goes nowhere. There's no way you can get away from this insanity.
Yeah, but you're talking about a bad economy, and they want to collect these resources, of course, because that's pretty much their collateral.
Yeah.
And the countries they take are their real estate as collateral, and they can borrow more. So yeah.
Yeah.
The bankers love it, right? Because they got collateral.
Well, that's the biggest scam there is, man. Once they got away with that, they were in control of everything. Mm-hmm. And you know, the super genius we had here was Woodrow Wilson. He's the one that signed your life away on that one. And then almost immediately realized, oh, you know what? I think I've done something bad. I can't. Oh, you know, we really shouldn't have done this. It's like, yeah, you coward. See what happens when you're a damn coward and you don't stand for anything? Sold you out, and it's just pathetic.
Yeah, and look at Egypt, and look at now Iraq. That's close to the rivers. They are already creating super expensive real estate for the elites. So they're changing this this worthless real estate into super valuable real estate. So the collateral only becomes bigger to borrow more for war. And then there is another thing, that these countries borrow more for war, and then the money gets paid to these big corporations who create the ammunition, the missiles, and the guns. So you're also, and they become bigger on the stock market because they actually produce it. So you're also moving the tax money from the people into the hands of the corporations, and it's like a huge shift of money to the few in power, and the establishment only gets more powerful and more. Yeah. It's like I remember in World War I when kind of that switch happened, that America was pulled into World War I to actually help the English and help the French against the Germans. And they actually changed their toy factories into ammunition factories. Pretty much the old toy makers pretty much started to make ammunition, and because they already saw the money involved with that. So.
Making bullets, yeah.
Yeah, we're producing endless bullets, and in a matter of months, the American military industry was bigger than all of these other European countries who were the military powers before that. They were a lot. America had a very tiny military compared to these European superpowers back then. Especially the English were a huge military power, and then the Americans, in a matter of months or maybe a year, they were able to make the biggest military industry in the world by converting their their toy factories and other factories into military producers.
Yeah.
So, they already saw the money. It was all after the installation of the Federal Reserve in 1913. And in 1914, the Americans went to war.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Talking about a war for economic systems. Like, before 1914, you had Austria-Hungary and Germany had like a gold standard economy. Because it was literally called Austrian economics, the gold standard. And then the Federal Reserve was created and violently forced the European powers to accept this new monetary system by sending the largest army that was ever seen before. It's the American army to take it all over. Now we all use this system. We all use the same Federal Reserve system.
Yeah, that whole all the central banks are basically the same, and
Well,
you only have like 3 or 4 countries that don't have it. I mean, and we're going to war with them. So.
Well, they all report to the IMF.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have to.
Yeah, they've pretty much taken over.
Basically.
Yeah, and that was also what brought Hitler a lot of power, because Hitler was of course a criminal, but he actually mentioned these things and said the bankers control the monetary system in here, and we will change everything in a national socialist system. That's what he said, and he said like, well, you don't have to pay anything anymore. We give you like a free car now, free healthcare, free education, everything's free. In return, you just have to fight for the German Empire to kill all these people. Yeah. So that's the effect of it. Like you have the wrong populist guy coming into power, and it will all change. And I'm not sure if Donald Trump is like a guy like that. He actually did say end the Fed, but that's actually that actually reminds me of how that other guy in Europe went to power, because he also said exactly that the Federal Reserve bankers, and he did literally call the Jewish bankers, of course, but
he'd be surprised that they're not all Jews that are on there. They're on the they're not all Jewish.
Oh, Sterving said in Vietnam a lot of the first AR-15s had Mattel stamped on the stocks.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm.
And the Singer Sewing Machine Company made the weapons for World War II.
Yeah, car companies made tanks. It was quite a conversion that takes place.
That's kind of weird seeing a Mattel instead of like a Colt symbol on the AR. Or sorry,
and on the other hand,
the M16. My bad.
On the other side, you had similar things. Like you have the company Hugo Boss. They made like the Nazi uniforms, for example. So now it's like some fashion company Hugo Boss, but they actually made Nazi uniforms. So yeah, they made a lot of money with that. We have some others still.
Some other topics? Yeah, I got one that that you said that we would never get off the Earth. So NASA wants to go to the moon and set up a base, and that is the next plan of action after the next Mars probe that'll land in 2020. And this week we had the Mars probe that landed on Mars. I don't know if any of you guys are up on your space stuff, but yeah, we landed another probe on Mars, and it will be measuring earthquakes on Mars.
Okay.
Like, so what? I don't know. I always think space stuff is cool.
Yeah, I heard the Amazon boss say he wants to industrialize the moon. Actually, make like the factories be on the moon, so we in
Well, what we
here
found,
on Earth don't need.
we found that there's water on the moon, so they can be used as a sustainable base with water and rocket fuel. So
For
Yeah,
some things,
well, most of the asteroids, I mean, a lot of places have that. Like you say, even on the moon. I mean, even there's no atmosphere, Mars. I mean, there's always water there. It may not be much, percentage-wise, but it's
well,
still.
they think there's 100.
For us,
They think there's about 1 billion gallons like spread all over the surface, but still enough to make a colony up there.
Yeah.
if you can make transport cheap to Earth and you have like factories there, I can imagine like a guy or two guys can pretty much lift up a car there with the gravity, whole gravity thing.
Probably like one
So
guy.
yeah, like yeah, a lot less production costs. Like you can just lift up cars and you can just do all that kind of stuff.
Somebody says, think Trump will gas them on the moon too. Well, maybe the illegal aliens, but get it, aliens, moon, yeah, whatever.
There's a lot of stuff about that too. Yeah, I have all these stories, right? That there are already objects on the moon, and again, like saying, are they aliens or are they like put there like by a previous Earth civilization?
Well, there's been some weird stuff that have been reported from astronauts from the Apollo missions, especially on the dark side of the moon, and they've reported seeing flashes of light. They don't know if it's an atmospheric thing, if it's static charge. They're not really sure exactly what it is, but more than a couple of astronauts on the Apollo missions have reported, seeing flashes of light on the dark side of the moon.
Oh, they get that in the capsule too. That's from I want to say it's cosmic rays, like
It could
going
be
through their eyeballs.
It could be gamma radiation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that does happen.
The reports about like strange objects on the moon already go back to like the earliest people with telescopes who were looking at it. I mean, you have all these kind of reports even from the 18th century and then on and on about people seeing strange things on the moon, like lights and other things.
Yeah.
I never know, of course. There's a lot of history about that. I mean, yeah, I don't know what is. Like the easiest thing is like to say aliens or whatever, but like the current human civilization is not that old, so maybe there was like a huge disaster in the past and there were already civilizations before us. It's not.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, the ancient man might have been much more technologically advanced than we thought.
Yeah, we always
like
say
the what is it? Gobekli Tepe.
Oh yeah,
that one's pretty hard to explain.
10,000 years old.
Yeah, didn't quite add up.
Neither does the one in South America, the one that's 17,000 years old. They think the one. That,
Puma Punku.
Puma Punku, yeah.
Colosseum
Even
Temple.
the simple pyramids in Egypt, like the oldest pyramids are the most advanced pyramids. So you're like pretty much like the oldest pyramid are the largest and the most impressive ones, and then it only goes gets worse and worse. Like there are lame copies of the oldest ones, and then you can pretty much imagine like you're not talking about the rise of the civilization, you're talking about some downfall of civilization, and they were actually more advanced before that. And you're also talking about mathematics that didn't really exist back then. Like there was only invented later by this Greek mathematician Pythagoras, and the pyramids actually use mathematics that's based on his mathematics, but he only like according to official history only was born like 1500 years later. So, yeah. Where do they get all that stuff? Like,
Somebody.
yeah. A lot of libraries are burnt in the past too, like in Constantinople.
The Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, it's all burned. So whatever was in there, like, who knows? we always have this Western superiority thing, like Columbus discovering America, but there were already Indians there. There were already.
And the Vikings were going there in the 800s and 900s. Eric the Red.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Squanto speak English when the Pilgrims got here? I mean, the whole story is ludicrous, man. You know, it's just.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're the guys in charge and you rewrite history, you can just make it up.
Yeah, just make
you know,
it
of
up.
course, you're going to glorify yourself. I mean, that's kind of goes without saying, but yeah.
You have the Peary Race map too. Peary Rice map.
Oh yeah.
That also contains part of the world that weren't really discovered back then. They claim it depicts Antarctica, how it looks like below the ice, beneath the ice.
Possibly, you know, when there was like Pangea and all that, and there could have been stuff that's buried under all the ice and shit, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to find like a pyramid below the ice in Antarctica. I mean, why not?
That's always what's rumored there.
Yeah. I know. People are searching for it still, and I mean, even the Germans went there, and they thought like they would find like technology and stuff to use, and why would they think even such a thing? So.
Remember what they were messing with the Germans towards the end of the war, the Die Glock?
Oh, the UFOs, the spinning.
Yeah, Die Glock, yeah. Which
Yeah.
was some really weird technology that even the Germans, we don't even understand how it works. It's creating levitation through spinning mercury and shit like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see how they would work, but I mean, I don't know.
It's
It was way ahead of the 1930s. I'll tell you that. 1940s.
Oh yeah, they were.
In Norway, there were also 6. What do you call it? 6 fighter jets using like a modern fighter jet technology. Not there were all 6 prototypes already.
Oh yeah, jet engine. Yeah, that was ahead of its
Jet
time.
engine. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they were using jet engines already. Yeah, 6 or something, but they were bombed. I've read. But it's all confirmed, and there was also in a few years ago in a lake in Norway, they also discovered an old German boat, and it actually carried a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I heard. The Germans, towards the end of the war, did have their own Manhattan Project.
Yeah, they already had a nuclear bomb. Yeah, but that is not a weird thing, and the Russians actually took most of these scientists to Russia, and Americans also took many of these scientists.
Paperclip. Yeah, he built what's his name? He built the Saturn V rocket. He was a Nazi.
Von Braun.
Von Braun, yeah.
Yeah, Werner von Braun was he was also an inventor of the V2 missiles. And,
it's called NASA now.
Yeah, he invented this rocket technology, but yeah, the Russians also took other rocket scientists from his team to their country, and they invented missiles there to use for space exploration. So there's actually two groups of Nazi scientists fighting each other for the space race. Yeah.
See, Nazis are good.
Well, but that's also what scares me about like finding like alien civilizations. Like what civilization will be like the first to conquer the galaxy? And that's actually such oppressive regimes like that will actually technologically advanced faster. Like,
Well,
one of the first civilizations.
I mean, the Germans were kind of ahead of their time, technologically, and throughout the war.
Yeah, so what would be the first alien civilization you would meet? Would it be like a German-style government?
No,
They
it's going to be.
might have.
No, it's going to be like the American Empire, man. Which is pretty much the same thing, just looks different.
Hmm.
And in some ways, it doesn't look any different at all. They're all dressed in black, and you can't see their faces or nothing. They all wear black and black boots.
Black and red.
A black boot is a black boot, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah, that is. Yeah, not many people know that actually. The police agents in the German times wore black outfits, and after the war, they changed the uniforms to blue.
Now they wear
because
now
it would
they all wear black.
otherwise. Now they wear black again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking, and they changed it to blue because they wanted to be different than the Nazis, or it would remind the people about the Nazi stuff. And now, yeah, they're gradually moving to black again, which is interesting.
Yeah, when you see black uniforms or black robes, like when you're going into court, you see black robes, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Sure.
Now that goes, I think, black or the color black. Those we call it, not the uniforms, but the trappings that are in black all go back to Saturn worship and the god El. I mean, that goes way back.
Oh, that's like Saturn worship. That goes to Luciferianism, right?
Yeah, it's all the darker magic and what would you call it? Well, it's pagan religions, But yeah, it's amazing how all these things have been brought into the culture, and you see them every day, and you don't know where they came from. Only if you knew, you might be able to save yourself. But yeah,
they're obsessed with it, with that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, very ritualistic. Yeah, you see, how orderly they are. Oh, if it's about making a process that is to fuck you over, oh man, you got every little page perfect, everything's signed, it's all very pretty. Look at all the trappings and everything's polished real nice. There's a real scheme to it, man. It's what there's things they like to see in an orderly way. The rest of it they could care less about, like dead bodies in the street or the fact that you're starving. That shit don't bother them. But oh man, if you're push pins and your pins are a little out of place, that sort of thing, that really fucks with their head.
Yeah.
Sickos.
Yeah, these people are obsessed with orderly stuff. You can make them freak out by being not so orderly, being chaotic. Introduce some chaos into their society. On the other hand, they also always use chaos themselves
yeah, as long as it's your chaos, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Masonic order out of chaos. They create the chaos, and then of course they make the order too at the end. So it's all about them. It's just your chaos, their order.
Unless it's a real chaos, like we would make it. It's different.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you look like the good guy when you're really the guy behind the scenes pulling all the strings. You're really the bad guy making it all look the way it does. And of course, you make yourself look like the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What else are we forgetting in the Anon world here?
Not much. much. I'm out of topics, guys.
Oh no.
I looked at the live broadcast, by the way, from NASA yesterday. They were on YouTube live broadcasting a landing on Mars.
Yesterday. Or was that today?
Yesterday night. No, yeah, for you maybe. No, it was yesterday. Yesterday, the live broadcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe it was today already. I don't know. There's a time difference, but yeah, I looked at it live, and it was the chat was filled with flat earthers.
Oh yeah. We had a ton of flat earthers in our. Was it our chat? No, was it?
Yeah, they were here one time.
Yeah,
way back.
You know where I saw them? I saw the flat earthers when pop up in the Mars lander. They were saying it was all fake.
Yeah.
So it's flat Mars too?
Yeah, they were saying that
Wow.
they were in Hollywood, and they were saying
man.
that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get these people.
Flat Earth, flat Mars. What are we going to do now? I mean, so even as we were flying there and it looks round, it's still flat.
Yeah, that Mars doesn't exist to them. It's not real.
Oh shit. Man, I don't know how to handle that one. But
Yeah, and those aren't really stars out there. That's LEDs in the dome.
oh
Yeah, that's what they
Wow,
say.
man.
It's true.
man, I went to school and I never learned that shit, man. I must have been. I forgot to take notes that day, or must have been a class I didn't sign up for.
I don't know, man. Like when I was a kid, you never heard of such a thing about flat earthers. I learned about Galileo Galilei, and he was imprisoned by the church because he said that the Earth revolved around the sun, not the other way around. And basically I learned that the Earth was a sphere, not a platter.
Yeah, the church has a really bad track record. They're usually about 400 or 500 years behind science itself. They're a little slow.
Yeah.
It is. It's difficult. It is like a psyop thing, but like the only thing, like, I don't trust NASA either, but not because they're like lying about everything, but because they're not showing us actually everything they already found.
Well, of course
there's
they don't.
actually more in space than less.
Well, they have a 8-minute delay between the relays to wherever, or between the Mars lander and whatever, and they're obviously taking pictures on the X-band that goes back and forth. But they also have the legal right to filter what we are seeing due to what is it? In case you know what I mean. They can censor what we can and can't see. If there's an object that shouldn't be there or whatever.
Oh, is there some space laws, some space code we didn't hear about? Some law that says we can't see what's out there? Or?
Well, like there's been several astronauts that have not reported due to fear of getting in trouble. Seeing.
Yeah, they got them scared, like the airline pilots. It's like, if you see a UFO, don't say anything because it might be the end of your career.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess, astronauts get that same warning. It's like, hey guys, we know you're going to another planet, but if you see anything, don't tell us. It's like, send it on the special chat line.
I am convinced they're already way ahead of what we're getting told with terraforming Mars. I'm not sure if I ever show these pictures, but I've seen a lot of pictures of obvious plant life on Mars. I'm convinced it is plant life, and it's just my own observation and some other websites. And these are all official pictures taken by NASA and these other organizations. They're all official pictures, but they're just not saying what it is. But I'm convinced it actually shows real plant life close to the poles already, like huge tree-like things. So I'm convinced.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, up near like where the water would be draining off or something, or near the ice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Yeah. So I think they're way ahead and they're already terraforming it, but that's just my own opinion. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so. But.
Well, you have a lot of CO2 being emitted by some of these big caves that are on Mars. You know, so there's got to be like some kind of, what do you call it, like microbes or bacteria type life. You know, it'd be some simple form.
Some single cell organisms, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, if you're picking up, that kind of gases coming out like that, it's obviously something's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me post something.
What I don't get is that even with terraforming, there's still a major problem with Mars. It doesn't have a magnetosphere,
Exactly.
It doesn't have a magnetosphere, so no matter how much. We could get an atmosphere, but it wouldn't. I don't think it would stay.
That's right. There's no point in trying to terraform Mars unless you can create that.
Yeah, that is true. But look at this little picture I put in our Hangouts.
Oh yeah, the one you showed me last year, where it kind of looks like trees on Mars.
Yeah, but it does actually look like trees, right? I mean.
Yeah, it does.
Or some kind of plants. They are like they're not saying what it is, but. These are official pictures. They're just not putting any explanation out. But I'm convinced these are some kind of plants, or they're like huge fungus or something. But yeah, and there's like a link on top to the official pictures, and they just look exactly like that. And so they might be actually already terraforming it, but I was thinking like the only thing GMO would actually be useful for would be like to create these huge plants that would actually create like an atmosphere.
I mean, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible to change the atmosphere, but I'm not well educated enough to say that that it would have any impact.
Yeah, I don't think it would. It would just get stripped off. It's already continuously getting stripped off anyway. You're just pissing in the wind.
Isn't the atmosphere like continually disappearing on Mars? Like,
yeah, that's why it doesn't have one. I think the gravity's high enough where it should have it, and it did at one time. You had water and probably air.
Well, it did have
at one time.
I think they think that it did have a spinning core, but the core doesn't spin anymore. They think.
Huh.
Well, that's what creates a magnetosphere, is a spinning core.
Hmm.
Well, the planet still spins. I wouldn't think if it was solid or liquid, it would make too much of a difference. It's almost like it's been demagnetized somehow, or I don't know what would change that. I mean, if you had a magnetic field, why would it just go away? That part I don't get.
Maybe it's spinning improperly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Well, here's I know what happened. The aliens came through several million years ago and attacked Mars, demagnetizing it and killing the people that were there. There was a giant war that went on. And
intergalactic between Earth and Mars.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what you would call me for saying that. I'm not a flat earther, but or a flat Marser. It's a galactic conspiracy that
Jules Verne.
I'm promoting as a likely theory of what has happened here recently. And
yeah, but I think you can actually just have some hypothesis about all these things. You can have your thoughts about these things. I mean, many people are religious and believe in like the most, sometimes believe in the most bizarre things, and this is just a planet, and it is so close to Earth, and it is actually within the zone that it could sustain life, and it probably has sustained life in the past. So, yeah. You know, or that they also say this, that it did actually have life in the past. Like judging these pictures I just posted, I think it still has some sort of plant life that is either resistant to whatever atmosphere they have. But Elon Musk is looking to bring people there. Like in 20 years, he wants to have a whole city there. So
he wants to go ahead of the NASA plan, and technically he can do whatever he wants. I mean he really doesn't have any restrictions there. I mean he's a multi-billionaire.
Yeah. He has the money for it, and he has the missiles that can actually return to Earth.
Yeah.
Well, we have to accelerate the process because this baloney of sending a probe here or there, every year. So it's like, come on, man. We know all that stuff.
Like they max out at 6,200 miles per hour is about the cruising speed of the probe, or how we've been sending stuff there. But now, they've been hypothesizing that that we can get much faster speeds to get there. So instead of these 6 or 8 month wait times, we can cut it down to like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's time to leapfrog and get the thing going. It's like,
yeah.
we could have. I mean, come on, we landed on the moon like 50 something years ago. It's like, what are we doing? We're still just, the science is okay. I mean, you could have accelerated all that as well and just, got that over with. It's like, we got to get serious and get out of here, man.
Well, yeah, that was something that Dr. Michio Kaku said, is that the guaranteed of the survival of the human race is to be on more than just one planet, just in case something happens.
That's right.
Well, and eventually our sun will become a red giant and will devour the Earth. So we might as well just get up real estate on Titan or Europa.
Well, that's way down the line, but the premise is still there. It's just like, if you're ever going to survive long term, you can't stay here alone.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. But when you got a retarded elite who keep their boot on your face, it's going to be kind of tough to get off this planet.
That's true.
Because they don't seem to have a plan that includes that. It's all about keeping you cloistered and stuck on this thing. Use up all the resources fighting each other as they convince you to fight each other and waste everything. It's retarded, man.
Yeah. You talked about the maximum speed, Tyler, of like 6,000 miles an hour.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they keep it at the cruising speed because they would need a larger payload to have the retro rockets to slow it down, so they use the cruising speed at that. But we have the technology to go much faster than that, so we can cut it down to
I'm looking
3 months instead of 6 months.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the spaceman guy, the Starman guy, right? Elon Musk shot that Roadster into the.
Yeah, it's already at Mars. It's already gone around Mars, and we will see the Roadster if it makes it around the sun. We will see it return in August of 2019. Around.
Yeah. So I'm looking at space.com, and it literally says the Roadster is about 134 million miles from Mars, moving toward the planet at 43,053 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's cruising speed.
So it moves the speed. Yeah, so that is let me see, 7 times or something the 6,000 speed you said. 7 times as fast.
I thought when they shot that thing, they missed. I remember hearing a story like it was off.
I think it was off. It was off a few degrees. Yeah. It was supposed to burn up into Mars, but it was off.
Oh. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to think about that, but that's... That was all very wasteful, shooting a car up into space like that. But hey, if you're a billionaire, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you can move it at like 43,000 miles an hour instead of 6,000, then you cut down the 8 months to like 1.5 months or 1 month. So.
Well, and also they need to. There's also like a window, like they can only launch from here to here to Mars, like once every 2 years, because that's when Earth is closest. That no, technically that's not true, but it would require less fuel to go to Mars every 2 years.
Yeah, you got to time it right.
Yeah.
Which I mean, come on, I mean that's still a long time, but we got guys up in the space station. They can maintain that long. I mean, it's doable.
We've had a guy up there for I think 18 months is the longest anybody's been up there.
Yeah, so I mean, just do it, man. I mean, quit fucking around. You got the technology.
Could you imagine shitting into a vacuum for 18 months? That's fucked up.
Not really, but you got to do what you got to do, right? I mean,
not taking a real shower for like 8 months, you'd be stinky as fuck.
Yeah. Hey, we should mention that this roadster, I think that Elon Musk shot into space, is not using any fuel at all right now, and it's moving at 43,000 miles an hour.
I bet you some alien sees like the prop dummy they got in there with the car, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like humans traveling in space, like they're like shooting like rubbish into space. Like
Did you guys have you guys seen The Furthest? The documentary?
No.
It's on Voyager 2, on how, or Voyager 1 and 2, and how it's still sending, the Voyager 1 and 2 are still sending signals back to Earth, and it has passed a heliosphere of our sun. It is almost 1 light year away from us now.
Okay.
So it's able. They're still getting data from these two satellites that we launched about 50 years ago.
40. Yeah. That's a long time.
So, I don't know. The more you know, right?
So so it is 1 light year away, and it's still giving data.
Packets mainly. None of the equipment works anymore. It just sends back packets.
I thought they were sending back they were picking up like the radiation, the interstellar radiation.
Yes, they did.
That part of it.
That was one thing that they did record, was when the sound of exiting the heliosphere. Yeah.
Limited Spill says they found sewer bugs in the International Space Station.
They found what?
Sewer bugs.
Ew.
There's going to be bacteria, but I've wondered about it. It's like, there had to be some kind of. I would think you'd have moths and things. You can't keep everything out of the station. I mean, even if you try, you can't. Especially the bacteria, you can't keep it out.
No. Getting tired.
Sewer bugs. What are these sewer bugs doing, John?
I think this one means super bugs. The other guy says they were really crabs on steroids. I don't know. It's but space travel is very damaging to humans, I think, to the bones and to your blood.
Yeah, that's why they want to prove it if they can do it on Mars. I mean, on the moon first before they go to Mars, to see if the human body can even handle it.
You need an artificial gravity, I guess. Then it will be not much of a problem.
We don't exactly have that technology. I mean, we can do it with rotating
Yeah, I mean, that'd be easy. You just put a long enough spacecraft and spin it a little bit. It wouldn't take that much to really create it. False gravity. I just don't see what the problem is, man. I mean, it's like every little thing we throw out there. It's like we've already done it already. It's just like, go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just have to do it like make their designs a little larger. But you can have this spinning thing around, spinning around another thing inside of a larger spacecraft. So you actually have the artificial gravity inside a smaller part where you actually have your humans. So yeah, it wouldn't be a very big problem. I think you have to just create it inside the spacecraft, like a room with gravity. But yeah. I don't know.
Well, spin the whole damn thing. Who cares? You're just flying through space anyway. What difference does it make?
Yeah, I'm just not sure if they understand how it actually works. Yeah. You have that movie 2001: A Space Odyssey actually show that thing like that, right? Like
yeah, the spinning center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that's kind of complex though, to have a spinning seal like that in a vacuum. Yeah. I just say, keep it rigid and just spin the whole damn thing. You would have to crawl out to an exterior point, and then that's where the gravity would be. It slowly increase as you got out. You're just spinning around. What's so hard about that? Tyler, when I get in charge of the space program, things are going to change.
Space Force?
That's right, Space Force. I'm going to write a letter to Trump right now. I want to be the first commander of the Space Force.
Give me your laser gun.
Yeah, I guess the first thing I'll tell him is like, you can just step aside now. I'm in charge. Well,
do we have any other subjects?
No, we don't. We can end it a little early.
I was gonna go look here.
We have so many people in our chat still. Give us some stuff to talk about then. Chat people. Reading back. I think the Rothschild thing. It's always like whatever you have your broadcast about, there's always going to be people mentioning the Rothschild family.
Yes, we have to target them. They are the enemy.
Yeah.
Here's the Twitter banning. Well, they got new terms of service. You can't misgender or dead name transgenders.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
This is serious, Tyler.
You can't call them a she.
Oh my God! You have to say that there are like 80 genders.
They self-identify as a female.
Yeah, and it's a crapshoot because you don't know what they are, what they consider themselves, right? I mean, they could be like, how many, it used to be easy, male, female. Hey, you look at the guy, you opened his pants, you could tell what the hell you were dealing with. Now it's like this guy identifies as some kind of gender that you never heard of before. And if you misgender them, not that you know what the hell they label themselves as you go in, now all of a sudden you're the bad guy. And you don't even know what the hell they want to call themselves. It's just a trap. Never ending trap for this crap that's put out there.
You can't call them a transvestite either anymore. It's hate speech now, I guess, right?
Absolutely, we have to. This is serious, Tyler.
Oh my God!
We have to. If we're gonna put
about this.
Yeah, no. If we're gonna put a boot on your face, we need you to know why we're putting a boot on your face. If you're like Facebook, we'll just keep it a big mystery. It's like we're just going to ban you, but we're not going to tell you what you did. We're just, we don't like what you did, but we're not going to tell you. You just play this game, a stupid game with a bunch of nannies who think that they need to curate the internet for you. I mean, have you ever heard such shit in your life, man? This fucking guy from Apple. I mean, what a whack job.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to even talk about the whole gender thing because there are people that are going to like rage out. Like we're not allowed to say it anymore.
We'll just rage and the hate.
I grew up knowing there's just.
Yeah, I'm okay with the rage and the hate.
Go ahead. Yeah, I grew up knowing there was just like a boy or a girl, and if you want to be like transsexual,
and you are like, transsexual. That's what we call them.
You're like a woman and you want to be a man. Yeah, like if you want to be a man and you're like a woman, then either you do like a sex change operation and then you're like a man, right? Yeah. But technically, you would have to like move all the man parts over, but we're not allowed to say all these things. So,
I guess we're gonna call him racist already.
Really?
Yeah, we can't even say it because we will like get like banned from YouTube and stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, the sheep and the lemming are so cut.
Okay, whatever.
I just can't get over it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we're like old-fashioned or whatever. Like it's fine. Like 80 genders, all fine. So good. Whatever you want to feel like. It's fine with me. I don't even care that much. Like just.
Well, I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm not gonna put up with this crap. There's only two genders. You can hate me if you want, but
no, they call it binary. Binary.
That's right. I know you guys think you live in a non-binary world, but I'm here to tell you it's a binary world. All right. There ain't no getting around it.
Well, what about hermaphrodites?
Yeah, you're free to say that. Like, then of course you are like.
Well, yeah, the chimera. Well, the chimeras. I mean, there's other, what do you call them, genetic mistakes and so forth that happen. But I mean, come on, let's get serious. You either got a pussy or you got some balls and a cock. It's real simple.
That's just how it is. How life is. Yeah.
Yeah, don't make a science project.
Isn't it like the
purpose
of actual nature?
Like when you were in kindergarten or stuff and you could mess with the little girls or something and you were looking down each other's pants, you knew there was a difference. Even in kindergarten, you knew there was a difference.
Yeah, is it like, what is that? Yeah, I don't know. It's like very hard to even mention it because you don't want to like insult people. They can like be any gender they want, but some would say that the purpose in nature is to actually have like more children in this world and actually expand human civilization or whatever. And you have like a boy and a girl doing that, but yeah, of course now there is also the technology. You don't need well, you actually do still need a man to make like a baby, but they can like freeze in the cells and. Woman can do it without a man and all these things, but the basic thing of nature is to actually have like children or whatever, right? Is that a weird thing to say? Like,
it seems kind of obvious.
Yeah. I'm afraid to even talk like this because I think it's like if YouTube gets the same rules as Twitter, we can literally get banned now on YouTube.
So hey, let me get this straight. You're going to let them silence you on the internet?
No, we'll just make another channel.
I got news for these bastards. I'm not going to shut up. All right, it's not going to happen.
People are racing out. Are you assuming my gender? Are you assuming my gender?
Dude, what is Barrett doing on Twitter?
I haven't heard much from him in a while. What's going on? He's still at the Intercept? Or?
No, he has a Snapchat of him naked.
Oh God. I don't know if I can handle that.
Is him or is his account hacked?
I don't know. He looks naked.
What? Well, can you identify his gender?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I mean it's not like all like quasi, but I'm not sure if he's wearing clothes in that tweet.
Well, just don't stare at it. Don't.
All right.
Don't do that.
You hear about this serial killer they got? This is 78-year-old guy. He's been in prison since 2012 for 3 homicides. He tells the FBI that he's killed 90 people and 34 have been verified.
Golly. He's prolific.
Well, he lived as a homeless person all of his life, so.
So he was more than I guess he could have been homeless, but he wasn't alone necessarily. Not all the time, anyway.
Yeah.
There's some weird people out there, man. I don't know why it has to be that way with the.
Samuel Little is his name.
Where's he from?
California.
People in the chat seem to like our statements.
Oh, that's good. Hey, we talk about Bitcoin crashing.
Bitcoin's on the rise.
Well, where did it finally bottom?
Rise again now?
Where's it at?
Hold on. It's 4,200.
Oh shit, that's lower. I saw it at 42.50.
Or 42.65. My bad. Bitcoin price has been going streamlined with the stock market usually. So. But another stock that has been flip flopping is Facebook. Facebook is worth half of what it was worth 2 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, they were at like what 240, 2 months ago.
Oh.
Now they're at 138 a share.
Soros.
Yeah, they went up a little.
Yeah,
they went up a little, but they were.
Did you know Zuckerberg paid for a smear campaign on George Soros when he took all of his stock out of Facebook?
Yeah, they said like George Soros is funding the anti-Facebook supporters.
Well, he knows that Facebook, even Brian Myers or whatever his name is having his doubts on Mark Zuckerberg to run the company.
Zuckerberg is a freak. Zuckerberg is a real freak. That guy. Like, he's really the way he looks is like.
Hey guys, I'm a psycho.
Constant.
I kill people. On the weekend.
And his android behavior. He's like this android behavior.
I'm Mark Zuckerberg. I'm Mark Zuckerberg. Remember on his old website that I dug up from 2002 because he calling himself the real Slim Shady.
He thought he was Eminem or something.
Every company that he's acquired, the founders leave because he fucks them over. Nobody wants to work with him. His website's in decline. He knows it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but he does this weird stuff to it. Like WhatsApp was very popular because they had like encryption and they tried to protect
now he wants to use
people's
that
conversations.
Data. He wants to use that data to give you ads on WhatsApp.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He just collects all the data again and like sells it to some shady companies. What the hell is that even about? Why would he sell all this data to all these shady companies around the world?
It's a messaging app. That's the crazy part.
Well, it's all about selling the data, right? I mean, that's what all of this has been about. Really, with all these companies, you got to be the man in the middle and sell the data, and it's what do I need? Really, I mean, what do you need a guy like him to be the internet curator for you? Do I really need to get the hall pass every time I want to say something controversial? It's like, oh, please, Mark, can I say fuck you one time? Just one time on Facebook? Can I do it, please? I need his permission for.
Yeah.
You're disabled for violating the rules.
Several times.
You're disabled.
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, save the internet, Yes, Mark. I don't know how the internet got along without you. And before it was curated with your hands, you're such a master artist. And, oh, God. The intelligence, it's just incredible. I have to beg for a hall pass from you. Oh, please. Please treat me badly.
Yeah, you must be like a real into all that stuff, being punished and tortured all day, because when you agree to all that stuff,
He calls you dumb fucks.
I don't get it.
Yeah, somebody needs
to call the user dumb fucks.
Yeah, he really needs to be cold cocked really hard, right in the face. Here you go, Mark.
Yeah, he does actually look like Data from Star Trek,
he does look like Data.
He does. Yeah.
He must have had some plastic surgery or something. He might be one of these guys. When you get so many tattoos, you got to get even weirder. So you get the implants, and then you tattoo your eyeballs, and it just gets crazy. I think that's what he's done. Yeah, I think he really wants to look like Data.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That's like
He looks different, man.
Public appearance.
That's what happens when you get AI implants.
But he is actually the Data guy, right? He is actually the Data guy.
Oh, Data.
He's actually he's doing the role of Data. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes total sense. Wow.
He wants to have that role in his.
Wants to put that on his resume, Yeah, I curated the internet. I'm at super GS level
but if he's
25.
All about yeah, if he's all about these impressions and this manipulation of people, then wouldn't it even be so weird that he actually wants to look like Data if he's a Data guy? In his community, that people know, oh, here's the Data guy, and they actually associate Data with him. I don't know. It's like weird conspiracy theory, but if they're
well, if you had,
I don't know what kind of people they are in Silicon Valley.
I mean, if you had $100 billion and you had a lot of time on your hands, maybe you do that too. I don't know. It's just got too much time on his hands.
Maybe it is his idol or something. He wants to be the Data who knows everything. No, it's like a
Well, that's the what that falls into is that transhumanism.
Yeah, true. They are into the transhumanism thing, so it is not actually even that weird.
Yeah, I mean, we might actually see him, become like the Borg or something here. I mean, Data's like the first step. You just want to look like Data. Then he'll actually say, you know what, I'm going to get some implants and some RFID chips and all that, and then. Before you know, it's just like, I'm just going to chop my head off and we're going to go full Borg here,
Yeah, but with the patents and everything they have right now, they could make glasses now, like a Facebook glasses, and he would wear it, and then you look at someone and he would get all the data. Yeah, he would get all the data about this person, with just looking about it towards him.
Well, it's the Google Glasses. They had that app. I remember guys that could walk down the street and it would it would identify, and it would identify the guy and then, tell you where they had a rap sheet or whatnot and all. It's like, whoa. you know the people at Google, they can do that. They may not sell that product, but it's probably for law enforcement and feds.
Yeah, I know Google is working on virtual reality too, and they will probably soon they will like move all these humans into this virtual reality, and they can like simulate specific things.
Oh, have you guys played with VR chat? That's just fucking hilarious as fuck.
No, VR chat, is that a website or?
Yeah. I've been seeing people play it like on YouTube and shit, and like some of the situations people like get into are like fucking weird.
It's really weird. I do remember that like that earthquake or something now, and Zuckerberg was like standing there with some lady talking about how nice his system was. On like he was like in the damage zone where all this stuff happened in virtual reality, right? He was like talking about his system, and he was like laughing there with a big smile, and it was like inside the earthquake zone. It was like Haiti or something.
Yeah, no, his system went down twice in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Zuckerberg. Your servers continue to go down.
Yeah.
But it's quite unique because for many years it was like always up. Like you could literally test your internet by just testing if Facebook worked. Like you do it to Google too. Like if you click, you can always test if your internet works by just typing in Google. And but now it's no longer like that. It just goes down and down. And if it's unavailable, you will check if it's actually down.
See, like Zuckerberg's such an idiot. He thinks he can turn his feeling system into what it was, and he can't. You know?
True.
It's gonna be a MySpace.
Yeah. It will be a
yeah, at some point it will, yeah, unless they can somehow keep the phony Wall Street funding and keep him afloat, but I don't see how. He's already overvaluated. He's got shit for forward-looking, what do you call it? The financials, It's just like good luck, man.
Well, a lot of his investors want him to step down.
Yeah.
Him and Sheryl Sandberg.
Yeah, I would look at the Instagram. I would look at Instagram that maybe had, because people like that. It has these quick posting of things and quick little messages, quick pictures. Young people actually like that. But Facebook itself is pretty much dead. Of course, it's too detailed. It doesn't have any future with all the privacy scandals and all the censorship stuff. I mean, the looks of it don't have this attractive thing either. Like, it used to be interesting if you consider Facebook your entire internet experience. It would be
that's what
people
we're doing. You searched all the internet. That's what Mark Zuckerberg wanted you to experience the internet through his platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they offered as many different things as possible on the site. You have to have your entire internet experience on there.
The average user doesn't use some of the stuff that's on the site, So.
No, true.
Well, content creators
made a smart move with Messenger. Yeah.
I was gonna say YouTube.
Because you create. Oh, we have some delay. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's been there.
No, because you're creating content. Yeah, but on Facebook, as a content creator, you're creating the content, and it all becomes part of Facebook. You have like
Yeah,
super company.
the only thing you can monetize now is the gaming shit. Oh no, wait. You know that's not even true. Now they're letting you on your sites, if you are like a show or whatever, you can tell people to support you by donating to your site. That's something they've been playing around with, but the average user is not a content creator.
No, true. Yeah, and then you have the thing that they're banning pages who make money on YouTube with political stuff. They they ban these pages like Anti-Media and
Unicorn Rat got banned. They got theirs back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got their page back. Unicorn Riot.
Well, they petitioned and they got their lawyers out to get that back.
Okay. What about these others? Are they still banned? Or?
Most of them.
What's the of people that get banned? What's the percentage that actually get restored? It's got to be low. You got any? Hey, do we have any data on that? You know, fucking Mark's all about data. Do we have any data on that, Mark? You know, when you fuck over your dumb fuckers, you know, what's the percentage that you let come back, huh? What's that number, Mark?
He knows it, but
oh, he's not telling me it's a secret.
He won't.
Yeah.
He's allowed to have secrets.
I am a robot. You cannot have secrets. You must give me your ID to verify the information on your account.
Oh, new terms of service. Yeah. We have to read it. We have to read the 30-page document back to you to make sure you understand.
Oh, the one that nobody reads, eh?
Yeah, we're going to actually force you to read it from now on. Yeah, it's going to take a while because some of you guys are kind of slow.
You like record your eye movements when you read it, like through your webcam.
That would be that would be scary. You know, if I got a pop up that on the Facebook app that it wants to read the front facing camera. It wants access to it.
Well, yeah, don't make any off-color
eye movements.
Yeah, don't make any off-color comments too, because they're listening to your microphone too. So as you read it, if you make any cuss words that are in there, like why the fuck do I have to read this, or what is this shit along those lines? Well, come on, man. That's a 2-hour ban or 5. We're just gonna have to keep escalating this until you quit calling us bad names.
Yeah. So when they started banning us, massive amount of accounts actually tried to get out. Circumvent it by using VPS servers and stuff. There was no way they could trace back.
They banned all VPN and VPN. All of the ways you could mitigate how you could not, all of the ways that you could not identify who you were. They have now not allowed any of those. Sorry, I'm hearing myself talk. It's disrupting my thinking process. But no, you used to be able to log on to Facebook and through Tor service and VPN, and you can't do that shit anymore without setting up bells and whistles on your account.
Yeah, I made the mistake. I tried that with the Tor thing a while back. Yeah, that's a
Facebook.
What do you call it?
www.facebook2core.onion.
Yeah. What it is a darknet honeypot.
You'll lose your account instantly.
Oh yeah, I had a hell of a time. I had to send them all my stuff, man. Just to, it's a bad trick.
Yeah,
and
it's not.
They're all about the internet. It's like They just have to create. It's not enough just to curate the clear net. We need to get into the dark net too. We need to know what you guys are doing. We can't keep track of you over there where we can't keep track of you. It's frustrating.
Oh, who knows if they were using that JavaScript exploit? They probably were. To find out your real IP.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. They are actually circumventing the Tor thing with that JavaScript thing. Yeah, exactly. You can't run the site without JavaScript.
I remember. It took the Tor the Tor GNU or whatever they're going by. It took them like up until recently to get the exploit fixed. Oh.
Uh-oh.
We lost him.
Damn. Well.
That was weird.
We lost Europe. What are we going to do, Tyler? We're never really sure where Terrence at. You know, he keeps that pretty close to the vest, but
that was strange.
We know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, it was the lag. Yeah, I was hearing that. I've been hearing that for about an hour, and it's working around it. But I hope that wasn't going out on the feed.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, OBS doesn't have as far as input to audio sources. It's not really that advanced. What were we talking about again?
The whole Tor thing and Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to quit talking about him. He nauseates me. He makes me want to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, same here.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
So far.
It seems to be instantly. Okay. The lag was getting really bad.
Well, we still use that transatlantic internet highway.
Yeah.
But when I try to access websites though in Africa though or South Asia, the lag is so bad.
Yeah, it is, and I'm not sure how it is with Terrence because he's like in those areas, but he seems to be dropping away. Like there's like packet loss always.
I don't know. It almost seems deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He's been having this problem for a while. I mean, that's not. And like he says, it's only like when he gets on here. I mean, it's very purposeful.
Yeah, we get a lot of comments about that. His audio is always that shitty, but he's aware of this.
He's bought different devices too.
Yeah. No, Turving, he actually knows about it, and he got all kind of he tries all kind of different stuff, but it doesn't help. And after the show, suddenly his connection becomes like great and stuff. So.
Well, you guys know he's one of these water protectors. You know, we got to we got to keep our eyes open for them. I mean, they're dangerous, trying to protect that water. So we need to send black water after him. And it's like, what the hell, man?
They deal with like Blackwater guys, and they were like with pepper sprayed, and they used Stingray devices against them. They used all kind of stuff, and
well, they sprayed him one time with a what do you call them, crop duster.
Yeah, it's shocking. Like what they were doing to these people is like, oh my God.
It's just, you're like in a big test tube, man. I mean, you're part of whatever experiment they can come up with at the time. It
must be still on their list. I think it is private companies doing that kind of stuff. Mostly, they're doing these dirty jobs for the government.
Always.
Yeah, they stay on you. Well, oil companies, they got money. You know, if you get on their list, and obviously that's happened, man. I mean, they stay on them. It's amazing, though. You just can say, baby, that's what's amazing about activism, is that the moment you get active, all of a sudden you're in trouble.
Always.
You know?
The second you want to exercise your constitutional rights,
yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know, it's just so weird. You're just like, wait a minute, you know, because it's that, you know, kind of realization that the world you thought was going on really isn't there. You know, that's like, because it's like almost the moment you decide to do it, everything changes for the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you get on a domestic terrorism list.
It's like, so we got we got a slave standing up. This is not good. What's his name? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on him. Yeah.
Yeah, and you actually do get threatened, and they badmouth you, they tap your stuff, they threaten you, and all this stuff actually does happen to activists. And and you get censored from all the social media, of course. And,
of course. You're such a scumbag and a dissonant to the state and disrespectful to authority, and you obviously got some kind of problem.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, people always say, like, in response to that, like, they're not scared of anything, they will just speak out, and no matter what happens to them. But there's a reason many of us do everything they can to, like, stay anonymous, and yeah, it's not for fun. But you can speak out politically, but some people do really get harassed badly, and family too, and depends kind of in what kind of situation you are, I guess. But
yeah, just don't get too mouthy.
Yeah. Yeah, or even like even if you're not even that mouthy, but if you have like a huge platform, then you're also already in danger. Like, say a few mouthy things and you're fucked.
Yeah, get too many followers. Like, oh, wait a minute, he's got 100,000. Should we ban him now?
Yeah.
Better look him over. Oh man, look, he's got more. Well, it's getting serious. What are we going to do? He might be establishing a platform. Can we have this?
When they remember, speaking of which, speaking of when they banned Alex Jones, they didn't ban all of the other people on the show, and they didn't ban James O'Keefe either.
Let's see. They went after a few people. I think David Knight got kicked off for no reason. He had no strikes.
The British guy, he still has his Twitter.
Oh, what's his name?
Paul Joseph Watson. Yeah, that's even.
Yeah.
Prison Planet.
Really?
Yeah, he's still on Twitter.
Yeah. I think he's on YouTube too still. I'm not sure.
Huh. Yeah, it's just it's
it's
like messing with you. It's a slow motion on you.
Yeah.
Drag it out, make you think you're all right. Maybe they went away for a while, and then the next time you open your mouth, oh damn it, I got another ban. Oh shit.
Yeah, look, Paul Joseph Watson got 1.4 million subscribers. That's like 5 times Fox, and like 3 times.
He's growing fast.
Yeah.
Now, what about that chick? That chick that he had on for a long time. She was racist as fuck. Remember?
Yeah.
She used to remember. She was like that. One of her housekeepers or gardeners like got a chainsaw and almost cut off his arm, and then she was talking about the problem with illegal immigration, and I was just like, man, you are racist as fuck.
That was on AJ's?
Yeah, that chick. Yeah, there's been a few times I've caught her spitting off fucking racist shit.
Do you mean Leanne McAdoo or?
Leanne, yeah, the blonde one.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not her then. Well, the newer one. What is her name? Millie Weaver?
Maybe, I don't know, the blonde one.
She puts up more of a fight. Well, this whole thing, we just can't let free speech get out of control. I mean,
I know.
I'm starting to see where these guys are coming from now. I mean, this is super dangerous, man.
All
people
free
talk.
speech is hate speech.
Yeah, people talk all the time, and we don't know what they're saying.
There's only a few. Hate speech is a crime in Switzerland, but not in the United States. It's a hate speech is not a crime unless. Well, actually, it's not. It actually isn't a crime, but it is illegal to say that you're going to kill or hurt somebody.
Yeah. That was just real. Quickly say that all Jewish writers, Jewish articles, Jewish books, and Jewish newspapers were banned by the Nazis under the word hate speech because they were hating Germans. So you say it doesn't. Yeah.
It's just your point of view, depending on who's in charge at the time.
Depending on who's in power.
Yeah, because we always hear them talking about like fascists and racists and stuff, but it actually also goes the other way around, right? Jewish newspapers were banned really hard under the word hate speech. So, yeah.
So they've learned well. Now they're in charge and treating everybody bad, but that's okay. We can't talk about that.
You can't talk about that.
You're gonna whack my PP if I talk about it, Tyler.
Yeah.
I won't get my hall pass from Mark Zuckerberg. My internet hall pass.
You've been banned for 30 days.
I can't walk down the internet hall. Yeah.
I wonder if we should turn on subtitles on our channel.
What would that do?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's just get crazy. I say do it.
It's all AI. The computer does it all.
Oh.
Okay, I could do it.
I don't know. I don't know if I want anything scanning our stuff for content. It probably has some malicious. Oh yeah, they YouTube.
Well, they already are, aren't they?
YouTube gave us our intro back. They gave us our intro back.
And they don't show any ads on our episodes, right?
No, we've been demonetized a long time ago.
No, I mean I don't want any ads on our show. That's just like.
Just because we're demonetized doesn't mean they don't run ads. They monetize, but you can't.
It's like after so many thousands of views, you can't. I think you can control it.
Oh. There have to be strange rules that we don't understand. It's just all a mystery to me.
Twitter rules, YouTube rules change all the time.
Yeah.
Like every fucking week. Our new terms of service.
On YouTube, we already reached the minimum requirements. It needs 10,000 views and 4,000 hours of viewing in a year, and we already reached both.
So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So we're free now.
Well, technically we could monetize this stuff, but yeah, I can tell you that we will get banned in 1 week if we do that. So, because then you follow other terms and conditions.
Yeah.
And you can get reported for stuff now, but you can't.
Because you're making money off of copyrighted content, then you start getting into real trouble.
Okay.
And then if you put out, you can't talk anymore about genders or about Mark Zuckerberg, because they can say we are anti-Semites against Mark Zuckerberg.
How could we be anti-Semites if some of us are Semites?
Yeah, exactly. Some of us are Semites, and we're allowed to do whatever we say.
Well, don't Orthodox Jews do that every so often? I mean, when they
self-hatred
clash with the Zionist. I mean, that's anti-Semitic, isn't it? I mean,
that's self-hatred, bro.
But here's the interesting thing: if I just single out the Arabs, who are also Semites, that's okay. That's not anti-Semitic.
Oh, yeah.
It's very selective.
Yeah. Yeah, Zuckerberg's a bad Jew.
This is so this is so disturbing. This new internet thing, right?
Well, he said. Remember, he said after the was it Passover, when he did the prayers, and he said that he was going to try and move away from all of the shit that he was doing to the company, and then, a couple months later, he doesn't keep up his promise and keeps on doing the same shit he was doing before to run his company into the ground.
Yeah, true. Turing says we are self-censoring ourselves. So can we say some disturbing stuff?
Self-censoring. I mean, the fact that they could even scare you in a cyber environment, censoring you, to convince you to censor yourself. I mean, it just makes me want to laugh, man. I mean, just how pathetic and cucked have we all become, man? It's like, oh my God, if I say something on Facebook, like you really have to worry about that. Man.
I remember 20 years ago, to need just like one Google query to make to get the full.
Oh yeah, Google's in trouble too. Did you hear the Google CEO was supposed to appear in front of Congress, and he declined to appear in front of Congress, and this was about how their search engine it's biased, and it won't show certain political views on their search engine and X, Y, and Z, and he declined to appear in front of Congress.
Yeah. Yeah, it favors their own stuff, and it says also they're abusing their monopoly, and they're banning certain political views.
I mean, the only thing I think that Google is doing that is cool is I don't know. I got this weird forte for retro machines, and Google Labs does restore old 1950s, 60s mainframe computers. That's the only cool thing I think that Google's doing. Other than that, I think it's a total shit company.
They'll be the first one to deliver a quantum computer, and it will break all your passwords. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing is safe. I will say nothing is beyond our reach.
I was watching them last week where they got in Google Labs, where they got the old Alto 1970s Xerox computer was communicating with the internet. That was kind of like a nerdy thing to watch.
Commodore 64, someone says, for sure. I like that. The fancy colors before starting a game. Tripping colors.
That was a good computer, man. You know what? Commodore 64 was way ahead of its time.
If you guys like Commodore 64, there's a guy on a YouTube channel called 8-Bit Guy. He restores them all day long.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Another one that was way ahead of its time really was Amiga.
Yeah, the Amiga computer, yeah.
I never could figure out why that didn't catch on.
Oh, it was mainly it was a European thing. But
the Amiga was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, I think their last update to their operating system was in 2016, 4.1.
Well, the games they delivered, they were so superior. There's only years later, Nintendo came out with similar quality games.
Oh yeah, they were doing they were doing 16-bit before anything was doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
About 3 minutes, guys.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we pretty much covered everything again.
we managed to talk about aliens again.
Yeah. any nuclear war. Next week, Commander X will come in our show.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Commander X on our show next week. He's working on a project. I won't reveal what it is, but it's some very cool stuff. Very techy, nerdy stuff, but it's cool. And I hope to have him on next Thursday to talk about it.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, it kind of broke up.
Oh, my bad.
Could be me.
Okay, well, Commander X, he can fill a show with his stories.
But yeah, we'll we'll have Commander X on next Thursday. I don't know. We have about a minute and a half left, so.
Very good. Well, thanks for everybody for listening.
All right, and I guess I'll roll out with the ending.
Yeah, and don't forget to share if you care in any way.
And since Micro's not here, we got to spay and neuter all politicians.
All right, and I'll roll out with the ending.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.